mattina mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invaso. Oh partigiano, portami via, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire.
survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
Hello, Free Fire friends. My name is Matcham, and joining me is another Matt. I'm going to be going by Twiggy for tonight. So here we go, moving into the Last Chance Qualifiers. We've got an idea on who's going to be going to the Grand Finals, but we got a couple more, at least 4 more spots we're trying to figure out tonight. Ready for this one?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got 12 more teams to go just to get through at this point. 4 teams have been dropped. 8 teams have made their way into the finals already. They've done a very good job getting to there, obviously, but we need to just fill out those last 4 teams to make it 12 in that squad. Bring out a full lobby, obviously. I mean, we've done an incredible job getting down from 192 teams. That's almost 750, actually more than 750 players, actually, in that. We've brought it all the way down over a course of about a month now, and we're just finishing off, rounding out our grand final squad, our grand final lineup. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the way it breaks down right here. We've already gotten done with group stage, Last Chance Qualifier, and then we're moving on to the grand final where all the meat and potatoes, as far as all the cash, all the fun, all the glory is going to be at. So, whenever looking through it, guys, do remember the fact that we're going to have 2 days of Last Chance Qualifiers. It's not just today, it's tomorrow as well. So with that one, make sure that you're tuning in, all the action, and then it's going to be a touch of a break. About 2 weeks or so, and then we're going to kick back off the action for a full 3-day weekend of grand finals. That's going to be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, respectively.
Yeah, and it's all to play for in the grand finals. Obviously, our prize pool is fully out there. Everybody can see. Let's take a look at it there. First place, $12,500. That is a lot of money, and it just goes down from there. But that's all. $50,000 total, plus our little rewards for the kill machine, the lethal killer, playing for first and Booyah team, respectfully. Now that's absolutely exciting. Now we're getting into these last few teams to compete for these for this prize pool here. Obviously, you can see these 12 teams here. Some to look out for. Red Falcons, they were just off getting into that top 8 when we finished off last week. But so many more on this one who have just made their way into this top 8, snuck their way into the top 8. Some of them just missing out on that top spot.
When we're looking at everything, I know that we saw a lot of these guys have big action moments last week and the weekends before that one. I know Osaka Esports, Team Money, Skullbreaker. I mean, even whenever we look back over into Dual Kings, Ozark Esports, all these guys have been drawing a lot of attention to themselves. But also, Japros for Life, I believe, was the team that was playing for 3. That's some heart coming into it, just saying the fact that, hey, we're still going to try to get into a position to at least get in the last chance qualifiers, because even though the fact one of their members could not play, they still managed to get to this state. I mean, that's what you want. At these earlier stages of an esport, you want people that are that passionate about it and just want to be involved in the scene, that every single hurdle that's thrown at them, they don't care, and they just keep going. And I think that everybody that we're looking at specifically that's already qualified and here, all of them have that type of heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having to get through about a month of qualifiers just to get into this stage, not even at that last stage where you're going to be getting that baseball, that shows a lot of dedication, a lot of consistency has to come out from these teams. And, you know, the teams that haven't had that top consistency, they've now dropped into, well, it was what would it be, 9th to 20th place here. That's what we're looking at. And, well, I mean, it just means that you're just going to have to bring that out even more. Only 2 days in the last chance qualifiers to make the points you need to get. And only the top 4 spots are getting through, which is absolutely nothing like we've seen so far. We've had, you know, generally it's pretty easy to get into those top spots. Maybe not easy, but, you know, as long as you're above that average, you're getting into that top 1. This time, it's really all to play for. You need to consistently get a bunch of points every game.
Yeah, I mean, making it to the grand finals requires skill and a lot, like just a constant level of consistency that you were talking about. Whenever we're looking at this, though, it's a different beast entirely. It is just stress epitomized. You know, the fact that you've been playing for near on a month now. This is your opportunity. You have to be in those top 4 spots, and you only have 2 days to do it. That means every single round that passes just increases the need to have a big game to follow it up. So don't be surprised as we move through this. Different teams that find themselves getting points early start moving into a little bit more of aggressive positions, trying to use that point total that they've already managed to accumulate to really force other teams to make difficult choices, just making sure that they can get into the circle early and just really start taking command of different areas. Meanwhile, if you're a team that's down to the bottom of the leaderboard and are trying to find your way up into it, every game that you're not finding those points means the fact that you're having to take riskier and riskier plays, and that just leads to so much mental stress moving through every single stage. We got the music going. We are close. Moving into this last game. Any last moments you want to say before we go into it?
Just good luck to every team, because this is really all to play for now. Only 2 days of this one. We're going to be flying through it. We're just going to have our top 4 by the end of this weekend, and I'm so excited to see who will come out on top. We've got so many exciting teams in this one, and well, we're moving into our first map here, and Bermuda, and it'll just be absolutely incredible to see what's going to happen in this one. Oh, are you ready for this? I'm shaking.
Oh man, this is where everything just gets to that next level. Everybody has to take everything that they've learned, apply it in as fast as possible. These types of events, these last chance qualifiers, are where you can see who can really evolve the fastest, who can pick up, who can figure out what's going on around them, and who can make the modifications to consistently get themselves into that end game. See, a lot of teams already pushing out for power points inside of this one. Osaka going very far to the east. JP already making a push into the west. Looks like we also have Money that's making a drop. I know looks like even down to the south, we might see a potential of a hot drop, as I believe that we got 2 teams that are going to be stopping right next to each other. And yes, it is going to be DK already losing a member inside of Gomez, and now already having to retreat from this point. They are trying to get out into the eastern area, as it does look like it is going to be HR that got control over it, got that first kill, and man, it's starting to pop off in a whole bunch of different places. We're having hot drops even further, a little bit like centered, as I think that 3 different teams have dropped around that point.
Yeah, Dual King's having to run for the hills quite literally now, as High Religion, they really took advantage of that hot drop and just took out the first member. Now you've got to run away, you've got that man disadvantage. Looks like they're going to be running right into Red Falcon, though, who have been performing incredibly well. In the meantime, you can see here, C7 Esports, they have got 2 kills for themselves already. I'm not quite sure. I think that's mostly IT official. As you can see, it looks like there's only 1 or 2 members just sat there by themselves now. But, I mean, this is completely different to what I was seeing in the group stages. This is so much more aggression early game.
I mean, well, C7 is just using the momentum of their drop, taking control of it, already running out IT to the north, and I believe it's going to be BTB. All right, sorry, TBT. That's the problems with being dyslexic. Sometimes that just happens to me. They've got to go to the west now, and that means that that's going to throw off everybody's loot timings. Whenever you see people pushed off this, sure, only 1 casualty, maybe 2 casualties, that sucks. But also, now, you're so far behind the looting system right now. That means the fact that you're just moving into this game immediately behind everybody else, and you know it. So that means the fact that it's just a new level of pressure, a new level of commitment and speed that you have to come and get tools as fast as possible.
Yeah, and it's really going to be that adaptation to, circumstances sometimes just don't go your way, and you will have to adapt to what you're doing. And I think that is really going to be the big theme for these next couple days, because when you're playing in such high stakes, you have to get points every game. You're going to have to adapt every game. You can't just go, this one's over. Let's just save it for the next game. We'll come in. We'll do a little bit better than this one. You have to make every game count, and that's why you can see teams running away from engagements where they think they've lost already, trying to keep as many members alive, and then they can push in later and try and make something out of this game.
I mean, even if you only have 1 up, and you can find a way to sneak into a couple of circles and maybe get some position points, everything's going to be important. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at differences between a couple of points in those top couple of spots. We'll probably have 1 team, maybe 2 teams that just consumes like so many points, they make it hard for everybody else. But then it's going to be really neck and neck for a while off of this one. DK looks like they're still on the move now and playing very far to the south. Red's just going to be the north of this position. They're already back on the eastern island itself, and this is not a favorable start, to say the least. This is just full-on damage control, it feels like. When you're playing the coast like this and just having to avoid all the looting positions, this is just trying to find scraps.
It's going to slow down their game so much now. We're almost 4 minutes into the game, and they're still... I mean, I think they're acutely aware of Red Falcon's positioning here. They know they tried to go down here to get some loot for themselves, try and get to a deserted area of the map, but they found out that, oh no, there's a team already here. They've already taken all of the loot from this area. Let's see if we can edge around the corner to the next set of houses, see what we can get.
Look at this. DK is over here just trying to scrap loot to the southeast, almost off of our map screen, and the circle goes northwest. It's just like, it's double trouble for them now at this point. But you do have to say, for C7, who's already been able to pick up a couple of kills, they are right in the middle of everything, and they are vibing.
Yeah, you can get yourself in the middle of the map and manage to get yourselves a bunch of kills. You're in a really favorable position no matter what happens. I mean, they're already on 3 kills. That's 3 points guaranteed no matter what, which is better than, I mean, coming... 3 points is 9th? 3 points is... No, 3 points is 8th. So, I mean, already you're doing incredibly well no matter where you place. You've already got some guaranteed points. You're going to need maybe a few more at the very least, but that's a really nice guarantee to have, and you've got a nice high position. You're very close to the next ring, no matter where it is. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, probably.
See a couple of repositions coming into the northeast right now. It's going to be ZRJ coming into this position. That's going to be kind of the northeast of the circle. I think that they have the last member for IT that's going to be pretty close to them off in the position, but it looks like they're leaning to the north anyway, so they're going to avoid that one out. So Solo is still surviving for now, as looks like they're going to choose to come into the circle with a little bit of style.
Lovely there. Brilliant sports car as they move all the way in. But again, oh, well, it looks like we're getting very close here. Team Money and C7. I think C7 have spotted them out, but it looks like Team Money have spotted them out as well. Some shots will be fired. Dariel going down to low HP, just about getting into the sniper's nest before he's taken down. The glue wall's deployed to try and block off some shots. Dariel trying to heal himself up as Navy runs away, but he's knocked down onto the ground and finished immediately by Rubio. Ouch, that's a blow to the confidence of C7 here now as Team Money. They count their chickens after they've hatched, and they run away from that one.
I mean, that's all you got to do. Go in, inflict a little bit of casualties, get control over an area. Just use these hit and run tactics repeatedly because now C7 has to modify their game plan off of what Team Money has now just brought. Just a quick pickup, and every single time you can weaken a team that's around you. Sure, it's nice to wipe them. Everybody knows that. Just go ahead and get rid of a squad. Yes, your life is infinitely easier. But also just coming in, getting a kill, stepping away, now the fact that you know that there's a weakened squad in that area, you can just now use them almost as a buffer because that team is not going to want to push into a disadvantaged fight. Only issue is keeping your eyes on the kill feed because I guarantee you that squad that just lost a member, if they see you have somebody get knocked on their kill feed, they are coming for you.
Yeah. Well, looks like things might go from frying pan into the fire for C7 as it looks like Ozark are now edging around their location. C7 just up on top of the hill on the other side of this dam here, but it looks like they're just looting for now. They're not looking for any blood at this point, and that's the way a lot of teams do like to play this early game, is just get yourself kitted up, make sure, like, we don't need kills this early on in the game. Let's just make sure we're getting into, you know, kind of a strong position. If we have all 4 players, then let everybody else do the hard work for us. Everybody else will be low on players, maybe low on resources after spending glue walls on fights on other teams. We can just sit back, take it slow, and then bring it to the fight when we need to.
Well, also just controlling territory, high ground positions, making sure the fact that you have vision on what's going on around you, you can track who's moving in, and even taking shots at range can hurt other teams into teams that you already know about. So taking a spattering of a couple of shots here and there can force 2 squads to fight if you've got those strong positions. So jockeying for those early has massive benefits, specifically if the circle continues to favor you. Only problem with it is, let's say the circle doesn't go that way. Well, now you've pissed off a couple of people and it gets a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, and it looks like it's all coming to a head a bit here. We've got CRJ, we've got SKB, and Ozark running into the same location. Ozark has the high ground on SKB. They all start firing onto Palunki there, but no damage really going to do to him. He's going to be able to heal up very quickly. These guys, I mean, they don't really have a favorable position. Although it is on top of a hill, there's not much cover they can use apart from the edge of that hill. They're going to have to find somewhere else to fortify if they really want to take a fight. Just alerting the other teams to their presence, but oh, a danger zone is going to drop directly on top of them. That does make things a little more difficult in terms of positioning.
Yeah, they're right along the edge of it, though, so I think they should be able to be okay. Oh, looks like Skullbreakers find themselves in an interesting situation. It's going to be Zeus with a high ground position. Going to see if maybe they can take down that goo wall. On the other side of it's going to be Kibble trying to get a little bit more control, throwing down glue walls, getting his team into positions while this is going on. Exchange of bullets between the two of them is just going to be enough to bide some time. That's all you can see the setup is trying to bring right now. It's going to be a couple of throwables coming through, and now it's going to be the other 3 members for Skullbreakers that do find an angle, but not enough to assist. Zeus feels like he's got the momentum in this one, just coming into it, and it's going to be another goo wall, and it's just a matter of trying to slow this down. But you can see, this Skullbreaker player has nowhere to go right now, can't find any vision, doesn't know what's going on, and it's just going to be a matter of time before enough throwables end up inside this cubby to take him down. He's trying to survive, tries to get vision, but it isn't going to be enough. He's going to go down, and it looks like the rest of Skullbreakers cannot provide any form of assistance.
Yeah, I mean, rock in a hard place. When you know that another team was flanking you from that hillside, it's very difficult to move away from your safe locations. I mean, Clubber just got caught in an awkward position there. In the meantime, Red Falcons, they're starting the assault on High Religion. You can see a couple kills going out that way, but Skullbreaker's still engaging with ZRJ. They do find a knock in return, but is that going to be enough when they still have teams surrounding them from every side?
Trimble, I like this. This is what you do. You're solo, you just find little areas, you hide, you survive, try to get as many points as you can. I mean, Wasaka being right on top of you isn't the worst. Unless they spot you out, this is a team that can inherently defend him in this position. You can see that they're looking out. They've got their eyes set on the horizon and not at this little bit of a dip, because who would play there, right? That's just such a crazy place for a squad to be. They're not thinking about anybody playing that position at this point. DK looks like they're going to be a little bit more of the problem that they're going to be looking at, as I think that Wasaka has spotted out. Uh-oh. Did they see Tribble as well? I don't know. I think that he might have had to reveal his position. We'll have to see how this one goes, but it doesn't look like the rest of the team is really lining up for it just yet.
Yeah,
no, they're just
dropping next to him. Yeah. I don't think they know where he is, no. I thought for a second Grisero had seen him from the side, but oh, shots are being fired here. I think that's Dual Kings, actually. Just from the side, and they actually do manage to get Jonah down on the ground in an awkward position right between, actually, literally a rock and a hard place. I was going to use that once again, but it really is this time. They're going to move in on this one as well. 3 players against 4. That's a ballsy play, and they use the glue walls to get in close. A little bit of heals for Marcos. In the meantime, IT official, they've already been eliminated by Wasaka there. Oh no, he got caught out. I just realized. Oh, they found him. Oh, well, unlucky, bud. Dual Kings in the meantime. I don't know if they really want to take this fight. The 3v4 is going to be difficult for them no matter what, but they're feeling themselves and they do fire off some shots. No more drops just yet, but they might have to head back and find new cover.
Well, it's just the fact that they know they're taking a disadvantaged fight. They didn't get there in time. They got a member knocked. They were hoping that they could get there before the res came in. At this stage, it's already been a res. It's already been the meds getting back up. You don't want to overcommit into this. Instead, use the high ground. I love this. This is beautiful awareness. Sure, you're taking some damage on this reposition, but through it, you're going to have an easier rotation point. You can maybe move into a gatekeeping position in the circle. Wasaka, instantly aware of this, says, no, we cannot surrender the high ground. We at least have to reposition for this one. But this now puts them in the potential fire lines of other squads. You can see the Grow Zero is now having to put up a glue wall back behind him to make sure the fact that they can defend themselves. Wasaka now moving themselves into a pincered position because they did not want to surrender that position to Dual Kings.
Yeah, and there it is. Ozark's positioning did pay off for them in the end. They are just taking down the Wasaka... the Wasaka players who are moving in towards them. It looks like Kamatron wants to take this fight, and they are going to move in, try and get a couple kills here. They only have one to their name from the IT official player, so they do want to get a couple more as Ozark. I mean, they've been preparing for this now. They've been fortifying this house. Kamatron right outside. They're not managing to get any damage off too much yet, but Red Falcon, they're coming in from the hillside.
Oh, Kamatar, so close right now. Tries to get a throwable through there. Is not going to get enough for it. This is such a forefront position. It's going to be at range. ZRJ that gets the vision onto him to take him down. Now, Wasaka, you are in a very difficult position. How are you opting to play it? They even have Red taking shots at them from the hillside. They know the fact that they now have to use this building that has Ozark for cover. Minimal options to work around at the time. They did get the res off, but you can see so many glue walls down, so many resources that they're having to spend just to stay alive at this point. And it's all just to try to get into a firefight that Ozark has had burn near on nothing for. They are just waiting for the potential of this one. Trying to clear out glue wall, trying to clear out another one, and there's just nowhere to go. Danger gets an instant pick off on one of them, and there's so minimal options for Osaka. They're trying to come in through it. Do manage to at least get one down inside of the exchange on top of it. Now just down to one. Grow Zero has to try to retreat. All other members down, and there is nowhere to go. Wasaka goes down with so few options to look forward to.
Was not a clean fight from either team, but Ozark do prevail in the end. A lot of healing is going to have to happen over there, and they do know. I mean, as Wasaka were moving in on them, I'm sure they were aware of the shots coming in from behind from Red Falcon. They do know that there's still a team on their location. It's going to be difficult to move at this point. They are stuck in that house, but at least they have 4 kills to their name now. CRJ, in the meantime, they are moving over towards Skullbreaker. This could be a big fight for them, but Japros for Life are actually also fighting Team Money over here, and they're actually in very awkward positions. Taddy is going to be taken down, Freestyle behind a tree, trying to take some fire for him, maybe cover for Ravkush to move in and get that res.
They are on the outside of this. They've got the wall right behind them. Ooh. There are no options for JP. They have to just run down the hillside. Prince, one, already down, already flushed out. Now it's just a matter of what can the other members do, trying to find an angle for it. Freestyle, trying to defend his teammates, but it is just outside in the danger zone right now, and so few options for them to work with. Luckily, they do manage to get a couple of their members in, but you can see it is just take a little bit of damage, step forward, try to med, and find these corners to defend up. Now with this, Team Money wanted to get JP down desperately. They're caught up in a very difficult position, and off on the side of this one, it's going to be Skullbreakers that do get a good bit of vision at what's going on. And now the push comes up from Team Money into this point, and it's a quick pickup onto JP. One of their members already down. High ground position coming for Freestyle, but very little options, very little vision to work with right now. It's going to be Rubio on the other side for Team Money that is just trying to see if he can get something. That height is going to be a little bit advantageous for him. Viola has to be careful, steps right into Rav's line of sight, and now there's near on nowhere for him to go, has to step back away from it.
Yeah, fights going all over the place as we focus on Japros for Life here. It's just a difficult position now. Ravkush and Freestyle are in awkward positions, but Rubio has just walked himself out into a grenade there, and that's really bad for them. It's down to a 2v2 as Flacco tries to move in and push Ravkush out of this position, but that's not happening so quickly, and Freestyle is able to get a little flank on these guys. Maybe might try and take a new position, but they do have to keep moving now. Flacco, he's going to be knocked and finished by Ravkush, and Japros for Life have suddenly found themselves favored against Team Money.
I'm kind of surprised on that one. I thought that Team Money had the position, had the knowledge onto it. Oh, it looks like the last one does manage to get one down, but that's going to be about it. Trying to see if they can get the res right before the zone closes in. They are going to be able to get it off. Is it going to be enough, or is the damage going to be able to come in and tick them back down? Does look like that's going to be what happens on it. So while JP did win that fight, now just down to one member in a desperate situation. On the other side of this, you can see it's going to be HR at 7 kills already, has spotted out Red, who is at the top of this hillside and has been getting a little bit of circle love for it. But with this hillside, they've also been getting a lot of control on what's been going on around them.
Yeah, High Religion really got involved in those kills on ZRJ well, at the same time, Red Falcon were trying to get in on there, and now we're down to, just 3 teams. I was going to say 4, but Japros for Life, they are finished off now. Red Falcon, they've got an interesting position. A lot of glue walls having to be used, but there's not really any cover in these last couple zones. It's really difficult for these teams to do anything. High Relation, in the meantime, well away from the other teams, is going to be able to just rotate around, try and find their way in through the south here, but, well, it's Skullbreaker and Red Falcons that are really vying for control of this north side of the hill. It's a really difficult position to move in through. Red Falcon, they will knock one onto Polonki here, and they're trying to get a little more. They know there's pressure from everywhere else. Oh, wow.
This is your opportunity, HR. These 2 different squads are fighting, so now you can step in and choose which one you want to harass. Instead, they don't find the angles to work with. Too many glue walls down are going to really make some little cover for the other teams. Now, HR does have a little bit better position and has stepped in. They've started trying to take over as much of the circle as they can. If there's a divot or a tree to be found, these guys are trying to play around it, and that's going to give them that extra little bit of cover on this approach. You can see that Red is now going after the tail end of what's going on with Skullbreakers, are going to spot it out. Now it's just do up. HR on one side, but Red on the other. HR's got a little bit more control in the center of it, but it looks like Red is aware of that one, gets a good bit of vision on it, and comes in from 2 different angles, applying pressure near on everywhere, coming in with confidence and gusto. HR thought that these positions were going to provide cover, but it's just Red coming in with numbers and finding angles everywhere. Well played to them.
Yeah, wow. I mean, a brilliant booyah there from Red Falcons. I mean, it was just awkward, the positioning from High Relation. I think there might have been a miscommunication as they rotated round. We had one player right behind the Red Falcons team and the other 2 over towards that pylon on the other side of the map, and it just kind of went a little wrong for them as they got caught out one by one. I think they were hoping that little flank would come in really big for them, but it got caught out immediately. And I mean, Red Falcons really capitalized on that. Really well played from them. And, well, beautiful. There's our first game done with. We've got the first points on the board. We'll take a look at those in just a second. But what are your thoughts on that game?
I gotta say, it felt like HR had the idea on how to play the positioning. They knew how the other teams were going to operate. But then whenever that firefight broke out between Skullbreakers and Red, that was an opportunity for them. And instead they played it, they showed some hesitation there. They were taking a little bit of shots at range, but they didn't make a sweeping decision one way or the other. They could have flanked in right back behind Red in that opportunity and done a massive amount of work and denied them any repositions on it. I just don't think that HR really got a chance to really get an idea on what all was happening on that position, because we saw 2 different teams that were fighting along the hillside for so long, and then them coming in with less information on that.
Yeah, really difficult situation, obviously, as it closes in on that, and it was just such a awkward position for that last ring to be in, as it was right on the middle of a hillside, absolutely no cover. There we go. Here is our points board, and I would say that's pretty much the definition of an oligarchy there. We've got 2 teams very close to that 20-point mark, and, well, 4 points for the rest of these teams here. Skullbreaker and Ozark. Oh, sorry. That's not quite correct. I was going to say, that's a bit weird.
You got to do a little bit of an update on it. It's okay.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's
it just
fine,
takes it for a second for the information to get pulled over. Early esports things, guys. It's fine. We'll still get you the information. It'll still be right. It's okay. But that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if we see 2 teams eating a lot of those points. We saw high kill counts coming up for a couple, as well as teams that were surviving. I'm kind of curious. I can't remember. Did IT actually make it into position points, or did they get caught out before then with their last member?
They got caught out in the middle of that fight. Skullbreakers, actually, they just kind of... it might have been accidental, but I think they just spotted them as they were running away from Team Money and just... Oh, no, not Team Money, sorry. It was Duel Kings that were pushing them down on that dam, and they managed to just get round and maybe just spotted the head of the IT official player, took him out in the middle of the fight.
This shows something that I was talking about a lot last week. Whenever you're playing the Battle Royale, it's very, very important to be the proactive team. Whenever you're the ones that are moving, whenever you're forcing everybody to make decisions based off of what you're trying to influence, you're dictating what everybody else has to do. Trying to break that rhythm and being the team that now forces the team to now shift gears. If somebody is just taking shots, playing aggressive, running in, anytime they jump into specific areas, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about making sure the fact that you keep vision on what's going on, trying to force teams to fight amongst themselves, keeping range, keeping knowledge, just dictating as many rotations as you can, and forcing many firefights around. If you can do that, then everybody else is having to constantly change their plans based off of what you want them to do.
Yeah, and here we go. Here's the updated leaderboard. Still kind of those top two teams very big on that one. Red Falcons with 20, obviously coming first, getting the 12 points for positioning, and then 8 kills. Very nice start for them. High Religion doing really well on the kills with 9, coming second, getting 9 points as well as that, getting 18. Skullbreaker doing quite well with that third place, 5 kills as well, 13 points. Japros for Life just coming in on those double digits, but relatively actually kind of even. You do see a lot of teams generally getting 0 points, 1 point. Everybody's kind of getting a nice distribution of points so far, so definitely opportunities for every team to get back into scoring potential here.
Big shout out to squads. No surprise. You guys just saw their kill counts. See, it's going to be HR and Red up at the top of this one. Really, I got to say, 2 members of HR walking away with 3 kills apiece just shows a little bit of, I guess, dominance and control in what we were looking at. I mean, they walked away with a high kill count regardless, so everybody was picking up kills inside of it. But just due to positioning, that's not too surprising for either one of these squads, just based on the way that they were playing it.
Yeah. I mean, getting to the end, obviously, you've got more likelihood of getting more kills, but it does just show, you know, these 2 kills, 3 kills per player. I mean, Red Falcon, you can see it was definitely a much more even distribution. They got 8 kills, and well, I mean, we'll do the math here. That would mean our last player got 2 kills as well. So an even distribution. They were playing very nicely spread out and very nicely, I think, like, I don't know how to kind of describe it, but evenly played. You know, they were definitely taking their own roles, making sure they weren't, you know, focusing on one person together or having somebody lead the charge into places. They're all making sure they were doing their own jobs, and I think that really contributed to that win.
Oh, yeah, and just the amount of confidence they came into whenever they took that last fight. Although I do feel bad that we had 3 of the Red members on there. Just one member's never getting the love inside of a situation like that, guys. But we got the yellow screen back behind us. You know that means it's time for game. I know the fact that we saw some hot drops off the start of the last one. I'm curious to see if anybody's going to make some modifications because, again, every game is going to count today.
Yeah, and again, this is what happens over the course of generally a lobby. You're going to see teams kind of trying to push each other out of these positions and kind of make sure they learn from their mistakes, maybe learn from other people's kind of hubris at this point. It's our second map on Bermuda, and we're going to be able to see kind of how teams adapt to how their rivals have played on this one. You know, they've seen them play Bermuda once already. They can kind of adapt to that, see how much they can get off of this. You can see C7, they are dropping in a very, very similar location to last game. So maybe every other team will think, C7 dropped there, maybe we should go for them, maybe we should stay away from them, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's these instant reactions that you have to pull round after round whenever you're looking at events like this, especially in things like the last chance qualifier. You only have a certain amount of time to get information on how people are going to drop, where it's going to be going. Scrims can only give you so much. So with one reposition away from C7, now look at the mess that we're starting to get just to the east of that. We've got Wasaka over here as well as JP dropping very close to each other. Red is just going to be on the outside of this as well. So information very, very important. Wasaka, looks like they're trying to get a little bit of an idea on what's going to be happening. Oh! Already an exchange between the two. I think that there's one down on both sides of it. Saka is already going to lose their first member, though. It's an instant flush out going into Comtron. So that's kind of problematic with this one. So we'll have to see how Osaka responds to this one. They tend to be a little bit more of an aggressive team. But remember, on this, we do have Red right on the outskirts that is hearing what's going on.
Yeah, Japros for Life will be very happy with that one after the result of last game, not quite making it into the top, even though they did win a lot of fights towards the end there, so they'll be very happy to get that first kill and be able to get their player up, that little res there. So, back to the 4 squads, and I mean, everybody was very close there, but I think they're kind of spreading away from each other. Nobody really wants to commit to fights, but we can see here, Team Butcher, they're moving in towards IT Official. IT Official really, really don't want to have a repeat of last game. They really don't want to lose those players. They have spotted the car. Oh, well, we'll see if they react to that one at all or stay away from everybody, but it looks like they're just trying to be aware of Team Butcher's positioning at the very least right now.
Yeah, I think that we did see Butcher spot that one out, and they're just going to continue rolling, leaving one member. You can see moving one off over the bridge, trying to get a little bit of, I think, more looting done. Now, I think maybe it's just going to be about trying to get some information, see if they can get some loot right here. It looks like it's just a constant watch. I don't think that we're seeing any aggressive play or any even movement for looting. I think this is just more of a scout position.
Yeah. neither of those teams did have very favorable scores at the end of last game, so I don't think either of them really wants to commit to a fight early on in this one. They know that there's that likelihood that they will come around with either casualties or no points whatsoever. So, very difficult situation for both of them to be in. We've got the scout from Team Butcher just kind of running around the edge of this compound here, just waiting to see if they can find anything, maybe pick off one kill, but you can see MVPs here is just watching the positioning of that player.
I mean, Clayan is getting at least a little distance away from this, but this is the domino effect kicking off. You can see that Wasaka has now had to move a little bit over here, trying to get an idea on what's going on. IT, I think that they have a general idea on how this is going. They're just kind of watching it forefront, but I don't think that they've spotted it just quite yet. They are stretching out, trying to see if they can get there. I think that Leon's already managed to make it on the other side and is kind of close to the other teammate, so getting a little bit of distance there. And you can see it's kind of a messy day to be Team Butcher.
Yeah, apt considering their name, but well, ZRJ. Oh, ZRJ's. We've got a scout for ZRJ getting very, very close to the Japros for Life team here, and really don't want to lose anyone. With the team disadvantage they have here of having that one player missing. I think Viz has seen them in that house there and is trying to run back to his team. Oh, but Team Butchers, they're getting involved with the rest of ZRJ here. That's a risk of being so spread out.
I'm kind of interested in seeing how TBT is sitting at this time. They're wanting to take this fight, but they don't look like they're too happy to take this fight. I mean, it's just been a lot of running going on for that squad. I don't think that they're as looted nor as strong as they want to be for any of the firefights that could be ensuing right here. So it could just be a continual retreat coming out from them right now. And I think that's kind of what we see going on. A lot of the teams around them, I think, are just kind of separated. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with how we're going to see TBT get out of that point. Circle goes back into the Northwest yet again, very similar to last Circle. Most of the teams look like they have pretty easy rotations, except for, no surprise, Butcher down there.
Yeah, Team Butchers, I'm not quite sure they knew what they wanted to do as soon as they saw those teams. I think they really wanted to try and obviously spread across the map, get as much loot as they could, but noticed that there was a team in every position they wanted to get loot from, and kind of spread themselves across the map, trying to find one place they could get free reign over, and unfortunately they've just run into a team in every position that they have done that and just been completely left out of the equation. They're third wheeling in every possible position they could be in. Lost one player already, and now you've got two members towards the southeast side of the map and one player towards the northeast side of the map. Really awkward for them. It'll be interesting to see how they try and adapt to that.
It's very difficult in a situation like this. Once you have to move and then you have to move again, and you're constantly having to retreat as squads, getting more time to like just get everything together. It just feels like a downward spiral, and it's so hard to control. So specifically finding that moment to get your feet back under you, take a second, breathe, get some loot is extremely important at this stage. And I think that we're starting to see that be found for TBT. I mean, they are right up against the eastern wall. I feel bad because this is 2 games in a row. We've seen somebody get a little bit harassed at the start and have to go all the way to the southeast just to try to find somewhere to survive and get a little bit of loot. And then the circle goes to the northwest. Like, Circle, come on, man. Just cut somebody a break here.
Yeah, I mean, in the meantime, ZRJ, they've really made the most of their positioning. They've run away from here right as Wasaka were pushing forward into maybe trying to take them out. I do think they were eyeing up these ZRJ players as they were moving across the wall there, maybe just using the cameras to try and find anything. So they are following now the ZRJ players, stalking them a little bit as IT Official is actually moving in behind them. It's kind of like a Benny Hill sketch, but right now all the teams are kind of staying away from each other, and I think once again this is kind of a reaction to what happened last game. They don't want a repeat of, Wasaka had an unfortunate mid-game crisis in the middle there. It's kind of just trying to stay away from too much engagement.
Well, we have a death funnel that is starting to brew in different locations. This is kind of what's going on to the southeast that we were looking at a second ago. We're going to see TBT trying to fall in right back behind Red, and Justin for Red is in no real big rush. My eyes, though, are drawn to again, the death funnel position. It's where you have a whole bunch of teams that are coming into the circle, and they're all converging into one point. And it looks like we are going to see ZRJ get separation away from that. JP is still holding down that point. Oddly enough, Blue for TBT is also up there, and again, just woes continue for those guys, with Sokka as well as IT that we were talking about a second ago, all converging on a similar path. I'm just curious, is Justin aware and has an idea on what's going on? Or no, he's not even looking back. He's just at the tail end of this one. So he's got to be careful. He might find himself kind of caught out here by two members. This is going to be interesting to see how TBT opts into playing this. Are they just going to let him go? I would assume that they don't want to take a fight because they know that they're at a disadvantage. But on the other side of it, it's not like they're going to be able to get away from red anytime soon.
Right, exactly. Maybe you just take that risk, try and get a guaranteed kill on that one, and screw the consequences, as it were. Just try and stay away from that one. Oh, but IT Official, they're making up for their mistakes last game in the start of the game and just pushing in on this one. They do get a knock, but it's not going to be enough from that distance. They really do need to finish that if they do want to get a guaranteed kill, but that's not happening. No shot. Just enough glue walls for Wasaka to stay away.
I was going to say, that's some range into it. I know that MVPs is kind of close, and you can converge pretty quickly, but I feel like that was almost a just keep going kind of firefight. You can see that happen sometimes on the outside. Like both teams are trying to make it into the zone. They just start shooting and be like, get in there. We need you to move so that way we can move.
Yeah. Little soft nudge on Osaka, and they do eventually move forward here. Actually, right towards the... Look, the Team Butcher member just below the bridge. I think just waiting. It's another IT Official situation where they're just waiting down there. Oh, a fight between Team Money and Ozark, though, and they're right next to each other. Ozark up in the sniper's nest, and I mean, you can see throwables going in over and over again, trying to keep them away. The time turner committed, and it just about staves off a couple of those throwables, but it looks like Rubio is going to move in and try and take that close range engagement. As I mean, you're just trying to stave them away now, yeah.
Trying to go up the stairs is just I mean, you're just funneling into one point. It can be so problematic. Looks like we are going to see the Team Money members start to get a little bit closer with this going on. Nobody wants to commit in. They know it's an awkward fight. Team Money wants to get these kills, but they just can't find any type of opening. So now, just double stacking, running up. I don't know if the bush is going to provide too much cover inside of this situation. Just running into it, trying to see if they can at least get the shotguns to go off. Does pop off for two of them, but Team Money already down. Only one member up, and it's a quick res exchange that's going to be trying to be popped off between the two of them. Now, two members up for Team Money, as it's just a continual push up. Ozark trying to find their feet again, as it's just going to be back and forth. Shotgun blast going as near everybody has no life to work with, but it's just going to be the chain reses coming out from the side of Team Money that are going to find more opportunities. But again, shotgun blast into shotgun blast. Ozark does go down, but man, that was close.
Yeah, every member of Team Money managing to stay alive as well there, which is incredibly impressive considering how many of them got knocked in that fight. Axel was really trying to push them off of that position, but, I mean, as the only player left, just managed to get pushed back into the corner by Team Money and finished off there. Brilliant from them, actually.
Is that like a medic dedicated role at that stage? You just say, okay, we're going to push up. We're going to use the bodies to kind of make a barricade so that way we can let somebody down at the tail end of it res and just keep chain resing up. And I mean, you saw people popping up and trying to go for more fights and just taking shotguns again. It worked. It was just like, it was like the epitome of just throwing bodies at a problem, but they just never got fleshed out, so it was never a problem.
Yeah, well, Wasaka, they're moving in towards one member of Skullbreaker here. I'm not quite sure how many of them are alive at this point in the game, but it's only one in this position. Oh, that's probably why none of them are there. Just using the launch pad to get away. Join the rest of his team right on top of ZRJ. That's actually really awkward. Polonki and Kalaba right here, and they're going to be joined by their teammate at this point. Monkey trying to move in on them, but the glue walls are going to block them out of the door here. They do manage to see them, but no shots are going to be exchanged here. They will run around the corner, and Klobuk trying to keep him away, and Polonki's come to the aid. Viz knocked down, and Monkey is knocked down as well. It's just Jeffrey left trying to fire shots on top of them, but Viz is knocked fully. Monkey down as well. Ouch. Jeffrey left on the edge of the estate there. I don't think he wants to take that fight anymore.
I like Skullbreaker's positioning there, just leaving somebody on that side of the goo wall, waiting for somebody to step forward. I think that they knew that the two were there. I don't think took a shot at the first one, waited for the second one to come in, and then just flanked in right back behind him. I mean, that's why you got to check your corners, especially when you're making a push like that with all those glue walls. I know it's hard because trying to track all the curvatures in the glue walls makes it really difficult to make sure that you're checking every single position. But with the fact that they've gone a little bit loud, you can see the fact that a lot of eyes have now turned Skullbreaker's direction.
Yeah, we still got one ZRJ member alive. Maybe that'll be a bit of a bit of a vengeance story there, but you've also got IT Official moving in from the east. You've got Wasaka, who came in from the north there, and I mean, they're still playing with the ring here. They're probably going to have to move around and not take that fight, but in the meantime, Red Falcons and High Religion, they're off on their own comeback story. High Religion trying to take down Red Falcons early in the game, make sure they don't go into the same position as they were in the last game with that final two teams situation. Red Falcons, they do have the high ground. I'd say High Religion has more cover, but Red Falcons do not have a nice lip to the hill there.
Well, it's all about waiting for it. And that's, you can tell, that's exactly the way Red wants to do it. The circle's popped. High Religion, you got cover for now, but you got to move. And Red has, again, a beautiful position. We saw them. This is where they got their victory. Just a little bit separated away from this. Sure, it's a little bit more to the south, but it's still the fact that they know how to play this and they know exactly where this is coming through. TBT, I'm confused. We saw the map come off for a second. That we have Nanta that's way over to the west that's contending against Dual Kings. Kaon that's coming in back over kind of to the south, and we still, I think that Blue was still up. I don't know if he's gone down. Yeah, he's still alive, and he's in the northeast. They are coming in from 3 of the 4 cardinal positions right now.
Here comes IT Official joining the fight. Red Falcon might have, timed it incorrectly if IT comes in and joins this fight. Oh, but that's a lovely 180, being able to take down MVPs there, and it's kind of turned on its head for IT Official as Red Falcons, who didn't look like they were aware of this one, are being moved in on. That will be a nice shotgun knock for one of the players here on IT Official, but Red Falcons, they're pushing in very quickly, making it so difficult for these players. That's another knock for IT Official. That's, well, I mean, they're winning the fight at this point. Red Falcons might have to try and regroup and get these reses. They will be taken down in the end by IT Official now, but it's now going to be High Religion that they have to worry about, who have repositioned themselves on top of the hill.
Great read on this one. They step up. They know where the firefight is. They know where the zone is. So they were being gate kept a moment ago. Now shifts out and around. I love the fact that Red was trying to lean into a double peek off the side of it, but IT had the read onto it and instantly got the drop onto him. Now IT has to be very cautious. They can reposition away from this, but they can probably hear a firefight that's going on to the north of them. That's going to be Skull Breakers and JP that are bumping into each other. So IT has minimal options on how they want to make their approach into this one, and it looks like the fact that they're trying to spread out, maybe sending one member with a vehicle, but Patrona has kind of been left back. I don't know if this is bait, if this is a distraction, if this is just trying to make sure that they get somebody into the zone, because with this, they do hop in the car, and they reposition entirely around this. Okay, Patrona does go down. I thought for a second maybe could get away. Now, the question comes in, was the cost worth it? Does IT manage to get into a point that can inflict something on what's going on with HR? Because HR saw exactly where they're going and now is moving up into them. Yard, coming in off of this, IT has minimal members to work with, has to move away from it. Does spot out Narco, though. That Vision's going to come in now, steps right in, spots out the push, has to be careful. Blue all going down off of it. But HR still has the numbers advantage, even with that one down. Can we see IT find the angles to work with inside this one, as it is such a close range fight and everything is just slowing down for just a second? So much hinges on Sanji in this position. He gets a little bit of damage, but not enough. As you can see, the HR did get the res, and it's a double up member fight where we have High Religion coming in with so many members, and IT just looking like they're trying to get out again, hopping in the car. It worked last time, but doesn't look like it's going to work again.
Yeah, the car destroyed there from HR. They're just trying to keep them well away from getting out of that position. But it looks like they're going to actually opt not to go for that fight. The zone is moving in. They do have bigger fish to fry at this point. They do need to move in quickly because those placements, there's still a lot of teams left to deal with. You've still got a member of Team Butcher just around the corner here. You've got C7 just over there. Team Money in the meantime making a meal out of C7. But it looks like Dual Kings and Wasaka, they're in this fight over here, just in this little estate. They do have to move a little further. Dual Kings are just outside the next ring, I think, in this house. And Wasaka, they're making the most of that position. They're moving in, taking down a lot of them, but Dual King's not going down without a fight. Oh, but only 2 members left. Marcus is going to be taken down here. Teams dropping like flies, by the way, in the meantime, but right now, C7 is down as well. Wasaka moving in on Dual Kings.
Nowhere is safe. Dual Kings trying to see what they can do here. They've got 1 member up. Singing Baby, they can just get the last minute flush onto it. Got to be careful, though, because we can see that's going on right now with Dual Kings. While they do have this position for now, Wasaka has been stalled out. They have more members up, but the problem with it is the fact that they can't find the way to handle this one. Coming in from 2 different points, finally pincering in. Dual Kings are eliminated, but that was a big stall onto Wasaka, and the circle has popped and gone very far to the south, with guess who having the circle control right now? That's going to be Team Money, who's been playing it a little bit more on the western side and been rewarded for it with 7 kills.
Yeah, Skullbreaker really thought they did have a nice position there, and they did, kind of, but Team Money just caught them while they were moving around, and they're in a lovely edge of this hill to just try and keep them away. No cover to work with for Skullbreaker, but they will put a few throwables down. That's a lot of damage onto Team Money. They're going to have to run away from that one very quickly, but doing damage to Wasaka now. They've just found another team on the other side of them. That's nice for them, but now it's just these two squads trying to keep each other away, and Skullbreaker in the less favorable position now.
I mean, Team Money has the center of the circle. They've got control. They've got patience. They've got numbers. And they don't care. They're just going to step in. They're going to take it violent. They're going to take it easy. Two different angles to come in with. I mean, it was just confidently and successfully played. They send two members off to hold off one duo and two members off to hold off another one. And neither one of the duos takes casualties and manage to stall out and support each other enough to allow one of the duos to win, come over and support the other one. Easy peasy, cleanly taken game from Team Money.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, obviously, big props to Team Money, but I'm really liking seeing the distribution of teams we've got getting into those top kind of 5 positions up there, because this is completely different to last game. We're going to have a really nice spread, I think, of scores, and that is just seeing these teams. I mean, obviously, we've got down from 192 to the top 20 teams at this point. This is 9 to 20 now. The skill level at this point is now at the point where map to map, we're going to see big fluctuations in how people are playing against each other, adapting to each other's playstyles, being able to bring up their own strats, counter strats in this one, and that's why we're going to see so much closer competition. So with Bermuda ending, I think we're going to see a very even scoreline here.
Well, we're going to also see something scary, where we're seeing a consistency starting to occur. It's only been 2 games. We don't have a trend. We don't have anything like that, guys. But we have started to see similar names toward the end game in 2 different games. That means the fact that, I'm trying to think through it, a little bit over a fifth of the games are now done for these guys. So, or I guess a sixth, easiest way to look at it. There's 6 per day. Gosh, I'm bad at math. But as we're looking into it, that means that teams that are not getting points right now have to start making decisions. Do they start changing things up early? Do they wait and try to stabilize, see if things maybe play off for themselves in a little bit? Do they try to be a little bit more aggressive? Do they try to figure out exactly what's been considering them wrong? Or do they just try to something entirely new? Because if you wait too long to make these decisions, it could just be too late.
Yeah, Team Money are going to be taking away the lion's share of the points in this game. 12 points for placement, 11 points for kills. That's the most kills we've seen from a team so far today. Only 2 maps, obviously, but absolutely brilliant for them, getting 23 points. That's going to put them well up there, especially because they did have one of the lower point counts in the other map. So brilliant from them. Skullbreaker also getting well up into those double digits. 17 points for them. Wasaka grabbing themselves 12. Goes down from there, but I mean, you can see here Red Falcons, who got 20 points last game, only getting 2 in this game. High Religion, who got 2nd in the last game, coming 5th, only with 2 kills, 8 points in this game. So we're going to see a nice little spread going on. I am excited to see, actually, because I've been trying to do the math in my head, but I genuinely cannot. Here we go. We'll be able to see the fluctuation here. Oh, it's got a little trend thing as well. Team Money managing to get on top. Actually, Team Money and Skullbreaker managing to run away with more points in this game than they did, than the winners did in the last game. So 31 and 30 points for them, 26-22 for the top 2 teams in the other game. So even with a booyah, Red Falcons finding themselves in 4th place.
Yeah, and that's just going out early there. But whenever we look outside of that, again, specifically, when you start seeing people that are appearing in the top 6 or top 5 over and over again and picking up several kills, that's where you're going to start seeing a little bit more distance start to break out. And remember, whenever we're looking at this, it's the top 4 that go on, and you can see it's 31, 30, 26 with a little bit of a drop, 22 with another little bit of a drop, and then a 7-point drop already in just 2 games, back down into JP. This is the gap that you do not want to see. You want to see, we want to see 5th, 6th, 7th, trying to vie back up into that 4th place position. And sure, I know it's early. Guys, there's still opportunities, but these are the things we need to be looking for moving into today and tomorrow. If we start to see a breakaway in these top 4, that is just going to spell disaster for everybody else. It's just going to mean that they're going to have to make such major modifications that it gets to be scary.
Yeah, but as we are right now, I mean, everybody has a target painted on their backs, and everybody has somebody right behind them. 1 point between Team Money and Skullbreaker. I mean, only 9 points between 1st and 4th. Keep in mind, only the top 4 teams are going to be making it through into the finals, joining our 8 teams from the group stage. So really all to play for here, but only 7 points between 5th and 4th, only 8 points between 6th and 4th. only 9 points between 8th and 4th. So really, really close right now. And it just means that everybody really has to watch out for how they play.
Yeah, I mean, just managing to make it into the later, I would say even the mid game at that point, getting a couple of safety points, because that's what you want to look at overall. Sure, it's great to get the booyah, walk away with it. It's great to have a 10-kill game, but that's not always going to happen. Aiming for at least consistency and damage control, as we saw Butcher trying to do unsuccessfully, is what you want to try to do in these like type locations. Okay, we've got one more game before we're going to take a little bit of a break, but with this, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I mean, we're about at that halfway mark for the day. How do you think we're going to see? We keep seeing hot drops and people having to run early here, Twiggy.
Yeah, Kalahari, a much bigger, more open map, so definitely going to be seeing probably a little more of a spread on this one, but will we see people going for the same kinds of strats here? C7 not going for their regular strat of dropping in the middle of Bermuda here. We're going towards the southwest edge this time of Kalahari, so different from them, definitely, but yeah, much larger spread. You know, all of these hot zones are very much more spread out. You're seeing, there are a lot of buildings for sure, so a lot of cover to work with. I don't think there's really going to be any situations where a zone moves in and you're going to be, stuck in the middle of nowhere with no cover to work with whatsoever, but it is a much more open and spread out map.
Yeah, and it looks like everybody's been able to find themselves a little bit of a control area, and not quite so scary, just due to, I would say, also a difference in drop. It looks like people were very aware of how they wanted to approach this one. A couple of teams kind of close to each other. As you can see, it is going to be ZRJ that is looking to the north, where we do have High Religion that has dropped at. Skullbreakers is just east of this point off of it. I do want to point out that Wasaka is running a 2-1-1, very centralized, but then also has Comatron that is kind of keeping an eye on what's going to the north, while they have Yai that's down to the south. I think that's just trying to keep an eye on TBT. I like the fact that High Religion are grouping up already at the stage. They realize the fact that they're starting to get comfortable in their loot, and since they are dropping to the north, I mean, the edge of the map itself, you usually want to be one of the first teams ready to move if that's the case, specifically if it like goes to the south. So very aware of the fact that there could be something going on here, and ZRJ making a counter move right in between where they know two different teams dropped, and seeing if maybe they can force a fight or maybe even get a couple of kills. This is what I was talking about. You got to see if maybe you can stabilize, get a couple more points every single game, and it looks like ZRJ is going for that.
Yeah, ZRJ really moving around, trying to, first off, get a lot more loot. Doesn't look like they have much to work with right now, but also trying to just kind of maybe scout out some teams, make sure they can find where everybody is. And we're seeing Skullbreaker really... Oh, they're going for a little stack on the... They're going to get up the hill here, it looks like, in a lovely
Teamwork.
fashion. Yeah, this is what it's all about, honestly. This is what you love to see. Look at them getting up. They're like billy goats.
And they do this a lot. And you can see them get to this point, and they get this high ground, and they get vision to work around. And that's what you want to see right there is... It gives them an idea of where they could see ZRJ playing from. They regularly tend to bump into Ozark that tends to play to the east of them. So this is a good idea for them to bring. You can see already making a push into the east of this, making sure that they get vision on what's happening over there. Ozark isn't pushing into them. But with going a little bit more north, they have put themselves in a little bit more of a jeopardized situation as to the south. That is going to be ZRJ that is just shadowing them every step of the way.
In the meantime, C7, they did find themselves first blood. I think there was 2 knocks, 1 kill off the back of that one. I don't quite remember what team that was on, but it's big for them. Once again, because, that last game for them, middle of the pack, they've been doing quite well. They haven't got, like, a motherload of points so far in any game, so that's absolutely brilliant for them. It looks like Team Money was the team to lose a player. Viola there being taken down. Unfortunate for them, and they are moving well away from that location, moving well into the ring, so they are quite safe in terms of position, but trying to stay away from the team that just scorned them, but they are going to be moving right into Red Falcon here.
I just got to say, Red Falcon has such a great read on how to handle circles, and since they are already dropping center, they've got the geometry in their favor. They know that they don't have to make big, massive rotations, as we're kind of seeing Team Money moving into a little bit more of a centralized point, and it's going to be Red Falcons that are there, waiting, trying to see if anybody's moving around them, trying to get a little bit more information. And Team Money, they have to be careful. They're already down a member. If they come into this and they don't have an idea with the demon, it looks like he's already got a read. Stepping into this area, trying to feed that information over, spots it right as soon as it comes out. Rubio just goes, nope, you don't see anything. I'm just going to switch into a bush mode. It's fine. Blue wall's already going through. Team Money, I don't know if you want to commit onto this one. This could be a little bit risky. And I think that Red was like, hey, wait a minute. How did somebody already get here as well? I don't know if we want this fight. Step away from it. Danger zone is coming into here. Neither one of these teams want to take this fight. So instead, just discretion, the better part of valor, and moving away from each other.
Yeah, Team Money were in quite an awkward position with that danger zone on top of them. It looked like, kind of Red Falcon did have the most of those roofed houses over there. In fact, they haven't actually made their way to a roofed house just yet, but they will, I'm sure, eventually. But yeah, no, Team Money not really wanting to take that fight. Red Falcon, obviously, they do want some more points. After last game, only getting 2 points is, you definitely want to stay on top of things. You are in the top 4, but with teams right behind you, definitely looking to secure yourself some points before you go in for big fights.
But see, I like this. They're not going for the early kill points. They know that they're centered. And so instead are just playing for a late game position. You can see that they've now shifted out, trying to get information on what's going on around them. They don't want to have another team just stumble across them. They got lucky about the fact that Team Money already had one member down and didn't want to commit to this fight either. So with this, they now have a pretty good spot to play from, a pretty high likelihood of making it into the end game unless we see some hard shifts in the circles themselves. So instead, play it a little bit more patiently. And I like this because get the survival points, get the kill points as Wasaka, row 0, I think might be able to see them. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this one, but Wasaka is playing to the northwest of where we saw Red Falcon just a moment ago.
Yeah, just scouting out the refinery here. It's a very nice location. Very connected to pretty much everywhere. You can see all those ropes on the mini-map heading out to pretty much every location around them. Right in the middle of the map. Very nice position to use snipers on, but it does mean you can get flanked very easily with teams, with so many ropes, so many connecting positions. You only have 4 players. There's only so much you can watch, so flanks are very, very possible from there. But it's a very nice position to kind of fortify early on, manage to kind of just maybe get a few knocks and a few first bloods early on in the game with snipers.
Oh no. I'm looking at this. C7's coming into the zone on the west, and it's going to be Butcher that's going to be coming in on a similar vector to them. You can see that it's going to be Kalen, the rest of the crew coming in over there next to Sub. I wouldn't be surprised if we see C7 coming a little bit further south than that, but that means the fact that we're seeing a fight maybe brew over there. HR is sending it right into ZRJ's positioning. I don't know if surely they have to have a read that this has been going on, just jumping right into the thick of it. They're not getting punished for this from ZRJ. Should have an angle for it, do get a little bit of damage, but not enough to scare them off by any means. They can converge in. They now have information. They can definitely condense down much, much faster. They do have one of their members go down and get flushed. That is just the nature of the beast with the surprise. But are we going to be able to see them react off of this? HR looks like they do get a couple of members over here, but I think it's still ZRJ that's responding even faster, forcing them up into this area. And now HR, this is bad. Yard isn't even over here yet, and is having to figure out if he even wants to. He doesn't know if he's supposed to play anchor, if he's supposed to come in and support. HR is now entirely surrounded on the second floor, and they know it.
Yeah, really dropped into an unfortunate location with the launch pad there, and they really can't go anywhere. Every window is covered by one of the ZRJ players sniping from another building. The zone is moving in on them, so they don't have anywhere to go to the north. Means that now they're just kind of stuck inside of the second floor of this house, trying to defend at the very least the staircase.
Well, Yard is now positioned to maybe provide some support at range if they decide to go to the west, but it looks like he's just kind of left them behind and said, okay, I'm just going to go for maybe some survival points, maybe just go for a gatekeeping position into this one. Oh, that's no good in any form and fashion. ZRJ just with so much awareness, and the circle has gone very far to the southeast as well. So both teams know the fact that they need to finish this fight fairly quickly, and that's why you see ZRJ just coming in with full-on gusto, man. They are just walking right through HR.
I think they saw that new ring come up on the map, and they were like, well, we need to move. Let's finish this off quickly. Just get it over and done with. No point in holding this position if we can just get them out of there. You know, they haven't seen that last player. I'm sure they're fully aware that there is one HR player still alive, but let's just move on with this one. We've still got every player alive. We can take the risk because they can move in, get that last kill. So some very nice picks for them. That's 3 guaranteed kills. They can move in, and they already have... I mean, they have to move, obviously, but moving in from the north with, you know, generally a good grasp on that north area of the map so far, it means that they're quite happy here. In the meantime, look, IT official, they're taking down the Red Falcon players.
Yeah, I was going to say, IT official in a gatekeeping position. We also have, it looks like it's going to be TBT getting in that fight with C7. That was going to be bound to happen sooner or later with them both playing so far to the south, right up against the zone wall. TBT a little bit back behind C7, honestly, which is kind of surprising, given the fact that I guess that they just moved a touch slower off of it. Blue walls are coming down. C7 playing this one a little bit more comfortable. Notice where we see Yordi around the side of it. That is going to be such a big play factor for C7. Now coming in, multiple angles of aggression deny the capabilities of the blue walls. So it's just going to be C7 finding a couple of opportunities, but oh! It's going to be a quick turnaround and a little bit of range. It's also coming inside of this firefight. Wasaka gets an idea on what's going on. C7 has to be careful into this one because I think Wasaka is now coming in off of it. C7 does have the high ground and now has to keep an eye on what's going on. Wasaka heard this firefight and now is coming in very, very quickly, hoping the fact that they can catch a wounded C7. C7, though, has the zone right on top of them. Both these teams know the fact that they have to move around this very, very quickly, but it's going to be the angle that we see Wasaka coming in, trying to cut this one off. C7, Daryl, up in the forefront of this one. Oh, saved by a teammate, throwing down the glue wall off of it. But Wasaka realizing the fact that they've got the advantage here. They have the angle to work with. 2 members already down, and now it is just Yordi, who's done so much for his squad with that angle from beforehand, now having to run out of the safe zone and just try to find some way to hide.
And in the meantime, we can see more pressures coming in from the safe zone here as Skullbreaker trying to move in where Ozark, they've already fortified this location. That's 1 knock for them already. Just got knocked outside the play zone there and finished off by it. Going to be able to be res, but Ozark, they're moving in very quickly, trying to keep them forward. But Skullbreaker, they have the shotguns available. Will they be able to hold them off? It doesn't look like they're able to right now. Time Turner's committed and they move in even closer. Managed to get another knockdown on them, but SKB, they are taking down members of Ozark. Yeah, they're holding it down. 1 more knocked for them, but they're still managing to just keep them away. 1 more player for Ozark. Can they get him finished off here? Flacco trying to fight for his life against the last 2 remaining Skullbreaker players. Playing really well against those glue walls. Trying to get reses here.
Oh! He's tries to go for it, leans in, makes the switch over. He's starting to go for flushes as he jumps through. There's just 1 member up, and he's going to go down. Flacco does it! Survives in a situation that I thought was just doom.
That was incredible to watch. Flacco just playing with the glue balls there, running around. Somehow, a lovely placed grenade, I think it was, just took down the remaining Skullbreaker players. They were trying to go for a res. Oh no, it's not. It can't end like this. No, ZRJ find him as they're moving in towards the ring. He has to run well away from them. 4 kills to his name, but well, now he's carrying the whole of his squad upon his shoulders. 1 versus however many. I mean, 1 versus 21 in a sense at this point. Wow.
2 different solos over on that angle. You can see this is a thick fight that's about to break off. We have Red Falcons, we have Team Money, we have JP coming in, we have Wasaka that's off in the distance, and all of them fighting around this point. There is just everybody stacked up on top of everyone right now. JP dancing in between all of these different firefights. It's going to be Red Falcons very condensed in, as well as Team Money. Quick exchange coming out where we see several members going down for Team Red. Now just 1 member up, going with the time turner, seeing if they have enough time to try to get the res on it. But here comes Wasaka on the outside of it. Everybody's already in, and it's just a target-rich environment. Just start throwing in, shooting whatever you got into these angles, and you're bound to hit something. Just looking in, they're coming in, and they're flanking everything that's going on into this. The other teams are now just forced into full-on defensive points. Blue Wall's coming down to see if they can just slow down what's happening, but Wasaka, they have too many angles. I don't know if they were expecting this many people to be playing around here, but it's just popping out into firefight, and Wasaka is feasting time and time again as solos are just fleeing for the hills.
Oh my god, Wasaka coming away now has 8 kills. Japros for Life taken down. Only 1 member of Team Money still alive at this point. Again, having to fend for himself after that one, just trying to stay well away from everybody. Oh, they've spotted out a member of Red Falcon. I think the last remaining member of Red Falcon there as well. I think Wasaka are really going to come away with a lovely position here. They still need to move, but they've got high ground. They've got information. There you go. They'll finish off a member of Team Money. Dual Kings is taken down as well by ZRJ. I mean, wow, look at this.
Still alive. Somehow he's finding a way to survive through this, and ZRJ is just chasing him down. Spots through. Oh, finally goes down, but 6th place, at least getting some placement points off of it. Not the end-all, be-all to it, but guess what, ZRJ? You've now got IT that's pretty close to you as well as Flacco, and if we just saw that, I wouldn't count out Flacco in a 3v1 situation either.
No, not whatsoever. But ZRJ now the kill leaders. They made a sub last game, actually. They swapped Viz out for King. And it's done very well for them as they come in here. Oh, hello. think we got a bit of
Last
connection
member
problem.
up.
There we go, we catch up. Oh my god, Wasaka have lost 2 players now. Down behind here, and only 1 member has to come and try and pick them all up. Can they finish off this member before he gets to them? No, that's going to be 2 reses for Grazero there. I don't think Will can put down that much firepower, but ZRJ are holding down IT Official in the meantime. Only 2 players left on that team, so they're just trying to keep him inside this room. Every team has got to move now. I think ZRJ probably has the best position to get into here, but Wasaka also moving into the new zone. Oh, ZRJ, you're free here. He's moving well into the IT Official's location. Just trying to capitalize off this one, but maybe the rotation will be caught off by him. No, not quite. He has to keep moving himself.
Gets the walls down. It's just slow and steady right now, trying to use the cover for it. He's just got a lot of enemies next to him. He has to be careful with it. Zone is coming in. Support comes in from the side. Teammates now getting vision on what's going on. Keep in mind the fact that this is just going to be an uphill battle coming out for ZRJ. They have to be very cautious and not overcommit into it because it's going to be Wasaka that's up on the top of this one. Wasaka showing themselves now is going to force ZRJ to look into this direction, but minimal options going to be working with him. There you go, ZRJ now taking a couple of knocks off of what's going on. It's going to be the zone that's inflicting the last little bit into it, and there's just a little bit of the circle. There's nowhere to go, and Wasaka, 11 kills, plays that one from the top of the hill, and I mean, from the moment they stepped back into that team fight, it was just following step by step.
Yeah, that was brutal. Absolutely did not give ZRJ a way into that one. I mean, they had very little cover to work with to begin with as that zone moved in, but I mean, just taking full control of that high ground, making sure ZRJ could not go anywhere. They finished it as quickly as they begun it. That was absolutely brilliant, clinical from Wasaka to finish that one off. So a well-deserved booyah for them, and they're going to be well up in those points. I think they were, well, I mean, higher up in that mid-table, so they'll be very happy with that result.
Again, top 5s. Seeing some similar names again. This is where it gets even scarier every single one of these games. I mean, I gotta say, the firefight that brewed up there with so much going on, where we just had so many teams converge into that one point, that provided the opportunity to just capitalize for Wasaka and just shoot up the leaderboard. There was just so many kills to be had in that firefight, and they just mopped it up as they came in.
Yeah, I mean, only one team was going to walk away from that fight, and it was really looking like we didn't know who was going to come away with that one. But, I mean, Wasaka, they just had really nice... I mean, they had 1 player in each house, they had 1 player up on the top of one of the houses, and they just managed to just fire down in a nice crossfire onto all the teams that were left in the no man's land between the 2 houses. Just managed to get well away with that one. You can see 11 kills for them coming first as well, 23 points. But ZRJ with 12 kills, that's very nice for them. They're only going to be 2 points off Wasaka after this one, so they'll be very happy with that as well. I mean, really, those 2 teams stealing away points from every other team in this lobby.
I mean, Red Falcons, again, picking up a couple of points. Higher Religion finding some money. Team Money finding some points. Sorry about that. I gotta say, though, Falco, man, just so... Flacco, sorry, Falco. Again, dyslexia kicking in. Falco with such a great play, but Jeffrey!
Oh my.
What? Sir, I'm sorry. I did not acknowledge you in the way that you should have been acknowledged. Well played coming out from him. I mean, Flacco, great job as well picking up that triple inside of the survival, but my God, that is a big come up from what we've been seeing. 7 kills.
I mean, Jeffrey really played as that almost scouting, but really spearheaded a lot of the movements that ZRJ made, a lot of the repositions that ZRJ made, managed to spearhead those and just get those opening kills, almost an entry fragger kind of role he was taking on, and it really came up big for him with those 7 kills, and Zeus also coming through with 4. I mean, every player on their team managed to get 1 or 2 kills, so brilliant from them. Wasaka obviously sharing a lot of those, managed to get 4 and 3 with Kamatron and Jonah up there, but Flacco doing incredibly well from Ozark. I mean, obviously, the 4K. I mean, we can't forget about what happened there. All of those in one point in that 1v, I think it was a 1v3 technically, but still, a full squad wipe for Flacco, and that was pretty much all of the points that Ozark got at that point. Unfortunately, they were taken out right after that team fight, the last remaining member, because I think it was HR managed to just kind of catch him off on the rotation. Coming away from that, obviously you're going to be defenseless after a fight like that, and Flacco did get taken out from that one. But they will come away with some points just after that one, and that's how much one team fight can really impact your standings as a team.
Well, let's go ahead and look at Everybody's standings as a team. Good feed into this one. Team Money now up in this position right now, 38 points. It's going to be Wasaka back behind them with a little bit of a come up of their own. Walking away with 37 points, but you're starting to see the defensive lines get a little bit cleaner, and this is what we wanted to. You can see it's not quite such a substantial drop off after that fourth place position with Red Falcons right back behind that, and then just 4 points back behind them, ZRJ.
Yeah. I mean, really, really tight so far, and you can see how this distribution is coming through. I mean, it's 6 points between the top 4 here. You've got 8 points between 5th and 1st, so it's really, really all to play for at this point. Red Falcons, even with a booyah, has kind of fallen off a little bit, and this is kind of what we saw from them in the group stage as well. They were just hanging on to everything, just a few points away from qualifying for the finals. Now they're just a few points away from qualifying for the finals once again at this point, but still all to play for. Only 3 games. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll come back with our last 3 maps. One more Kalahari, and then we'll finish it off with Purgatory. But don't go anywhere because it's really exciting.
partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. Una mattina mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor. Oh partigiano, portami via. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. Da partigiano, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. E se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire.
Hi survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12 finalists will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
We are back, Free Fire friends, and halfway through the action for today, because we got the Last Chance Qualifier today and tomorrow. So it's been feisty so far, and the leaderboard's still close enough that looks like the fact that we're going to have some fights going for that last 4 spots for the grand final.
Yeah, it's a really tight-knit group so far. We've got 8 points between 5th and 1st. Keep in mind, the top 4 teams are going to be qualifying. Here we go. We can take a look at this one. So only 8 points between Red Falcons there and Team Money. So really all to play for on that one. Again, top 4 teams get through. So come in 5th. You lose out on everything. That is it at the end of this weekend. If you are below 4th place, you are out completely. Obviously, with your pride intact, getting it to this stage of the tournament, but with no prize money to back it up, no bragging rights of that kind. CRJ right behind them, only 4 points back, but it kind of falls off from there, and it really means that these bottom 7, about this bottom 7, I would say, teams are really going to have to fight to get back up into this one. No booyahs, a generally low amount of kills apart from ZRJ. It means they're really going to have to fight for their position from now on.
I got to put an asterisk on that one, though, because JP has been fighting regularly with just 3 members coming into the lobby and still putting up decent numbers.
Oh, yeah.
I like the fact that they're like, no, we can play in this. There is still a chance. And even playing from such a detriment, they don't care. They're still like, no, we're still going to keep fighting every bit that we can, because even if they don't manage to qualify, because let's be real, that's going to be hard with just 3 members fairly regularly. They're still going to walk away with so much freaking experience that whenever they come into the next event with that 4th member, just imagine what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely, and that go screen means we're going to be heading into the 4th game. It's our last game of Kalahari here as we get into this one. Obviously, very different to Bermuda so far. I mean, how do you kind of like quantify kind of the difference between those 2 maps? Because it has been so different the way teams have played. Even the kind of the more aggressive teams have become a little more withdrawn in this map. Kind of what have been your standout changes from map to map so far?
Well, it really comes down to the fact that we've got the hillside in the center of the last one versus having a refinery inside of this. The hillside provides a lot more rotation options. Refinery is just so much more of a complicated position. Whenever you look at the center of the map, that's what most people are going to be vying for, just due to the mathematical advantage that you can find in that. I mean, circles are a certain size, and being centralized is just the way the map works, right? If you look at it, very early, so teams such as Wasaka are going to be favored in that. JP, Red, the further you go out, the harder it's going to be. So what? HR and ZRJ off the start. HR feeling like they have the capabilities inside of this one. Do have one of their members down, but they already got a knock on the other side of it. I was not expecting this firefight, and HR, oh my God, they're starting to have some problems come after him. ZRJ looks like they're starting to stabilize. They're finding the weapons as well, trying to see if they can stay alive, and Monkey just barely staying alive, does get knocked inside of it, but it's just 1 up. HR, you're in so much trouble right now. Can you hold it through? Because if you can, your members are still up. You can find the res, but you have to end the firefight so fast. Zeus was trying to go for the flank and seeing if maybe he can step away. See if maybe he can get the res into this one. He knows the fact that there's one at range. It's going to be Yard that he leans into as the other 2 members are already down. And that means 4 members are going to be up for ZRJ, and they are just so happy. These are needed points for them. Already having 2 of it, they're converging in, running right in. They know exactly where the last 2 members of HR are, and they are trying to hunt them down. Quick exchange, bouncing between it, finding the open doorways. One goes down, and it's just Yard near on no meds due to the fact that such an early fight. He's just trying to find a way to survive. He gets spotted, and there you go. Apparently, you shouldn't drop on ZRJ.
They will be laughing all the way to the bank with that one. I think they just dropped on top of some really favorable weapons there. We saw a sawed-off shotgun, we saw a bunch of ARs, and they were just able to fire down on top of the HR team. The HR team, who initiated the fight, in fact, got scorned for that one. Ouch, that's really difficult for them, and every member of ZRG staying alive, that is nothing but favorable for them. They really needed those points to vie for that kind of 5th upwards position. They're really happy with that. Meanwhile, Wasaka, 2 kills already, and they have Refinery lockdown.
I do want to point out that ZRJ has been playing a little bit further to south around Foundation, and we saw them shifting to the east last time. I feel like this was a dedicated decision to move to the north and see if they can pick up some earlier kills. I mean, just walking away with 4 right now stabilizes you so much better, because from here on out, every single thing that you get is just going to give you so much better of a position to climb through the leaderboard. Those early couple of kills, as well as the fact that, I mean, ZRJ is the team that also shadows Skullbreakers that plays to the northeast of this position. So now they should have a good idea on where they're going to be and can potentially move to a gatekeeping position yet again. So that means that they can move into another immediate firefight if this is what that squad wants.
Yeah. I mean, now everybody... I mean, you could see actually earlier on, I just wanted to point out that SKB were moving up on top of that location that you can see. Look, they did this last game on Kalahari, this nice high ground location. Actually, I mean, it's towards the south, but it's still relatively close to them over towards the east side of the map. That zone is quite favorable for them because it just means they can hold on to this position until they have to move, and it's actually quite a nice position to look down on top of areas like Shrines or Oldhampton, where ZRJ are moving away from. Might come up favorably for them. We'll see how that plan pans out, but in the meantime, most of the teams are already in the zone.
JP, I don't know what they're kind of doing here. They got one that's pretty close to Osaka. They've got one that's back in blue. This is I don't even want to say it's an anchor plate because it's the way that they're moving around is so peculiar.
Yeah.
No, wait. No, look. ZRJ, after that fight going east, they know where Skullbreakers are. They're hunting them down. This is them going for points early in this.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah, okay. So, Skullbreakers, they have given up that position. They do want to move in on that zone, so they won't be able to take advantage of the CRJ players moving in towards them. But, you know, the grand tour from them, they're going to be heading all the way around the edge of the map. But right now, everybody's staying away from each other. Once again, IT, you know, they're relatively close to the top of the kind of leaderboard. They really want to hold on to those points. They're not going for a fight that's unnecessary against Ozark, who are moving around. Look, you can see, like, trigger control from them. They're just waiting, seeing if they can get a more favorable position. They all fire at once. Flacco is in a terrible location, low on health. Down go his glue walls, committing the time turner. Now they're in an awkward position. Not much cover to work with. I think IT official have really timed this perfectly.
Yeah, just wait for them to be entirely in the open, have the good sight lines onto it. Flacco's in some trouble. If JP hears this, they might be able to get some shots into the side of Ozark as well. Flacco just trying to make it to that rock and
Wow.
just narrowly gets there. Patrona has an idea on where they're at, but it's starting to get a little bit too separated out. They wanted to get those shots in there and get the knock, and at this point, I think that they just kind of let this one go.
Yeah, it was favorable for them, and it really did work out quite nicely. You managed to make the team commit a lot of resources to stay away from that one, at the very least, so maybe it won't favor you, but it's going to mean that they slip down the leaderboards possibly towards the end of this one. In the meantime, ZRJ, they have taken control of the area that Skullbreakers had earlier on.
Look, they come over here, and they look around, they're like, oh, they're not here, and now they're making their way to the circle. They are after people right now, and this is what you want. Flex into your strengths, and use the knowledge. Use where you know teams are going to go. Once you play with people enough, you're going to have a rough idea on how they want to play the game and the circles and how they're going to navigate them. And that's exactly what ZRJ is doing right now. They're using not just the game knowledge, but their team and player knowledge and preferences.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. As we hear the ring for the next zone, you can see Team Money, they're moving around. They're at the top of the leaderboard right now, and they might want to keep themselves at the top of the leaderboard. I think they can see Dual Kings rotating around here, so yeah, as they've spotted that one out. Again, look at them, trying to get into a favorable position before they engage in a fight. You can see how, these top teams are really, really making it as easy as they can for themselves. That's one knock for them. It will be revived in just a second. Marcos just trying to get towards the rest of his team. Manages to get there. Oh no, knocked as well. Ooh. Oh, and finished as well. Rubio caught him just without a glue wall in front of him, so they get a guaranteed kill already, and Dual Kings, they're fighting for their lives now.
I mean, Dual Kings has nowhere to really go. If they commit to the north, I think that IT should be able to spot them out. And Team Money, again, this is just their hit-and-run tactics. You can see the fact that they're like, all right, we got our 2 points. We've inflicted the casualties. Or 1 kill, I'm sorry about that. And then we'll just step away from it. They're fine with just territory control. Get the kill, force a team away, force them to potentially fight another team, and then move back into the position you want. This is how you play for control. Because if the circle goes this way, Team Money will own so much of it. Now then, you can see the fact that a couple other fights are starting to brew off over here as Butcher is coming into Red's position. That is very centralized into this one. Let's see how Red is going to react. Spots it through, gets some damage into Strong, but not enough. Now position revealed, and Demon in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, caught up in a really awkward position by himself. Managing to put the moves on them and actually get out of there with only 20 health. Knocked. What has happened? Grifo in the meantime has been knocked down, but I mean, somehow managing to get away there, Demon. I'm not sure what happened, but Team Butchers really haven't capitalized on it. They might be able to right now, but the trades are coming through really nicely from Red Falcons. No, Justin is going to be taken down there by Strong Clan, taking out Grifo now, and it's really difficult for Red Falcons at this point, and they really needed the points coming into this one, so this has got to hurt.
Still dancing around, doing a great job on this one. Demon somehow just navigating through, and Red backing around through this one, getting another res. I mean, Butcher has the advantage. They were pushing everything through this one, but you can see it's just a constant awareness coming up from Red. Now, 2 members up, they did lose Demon and everything with it was going on. Red, how do they want to lean into this one? They don't get a knock off that shot. Now revealed, they know the fact that they're in trouble. Throwable goes a little bit too far on the other side of it. Butcher is going to have one of their members spotted, but they know the fact that pushing up into this is going to be very, very hard for them to do. Instead, playing a little bit carefully, just sending Blue up there. Blue runs in, throwable, the frag grenade connects into it, and now there is just one. Grifo, the last one up, playing the other side of the glue wall, trying to use the time turn as well, going in, trying to use the scythe. He knows the fact that he's outnumbered, but there's just people crawling all over him.
Oh dear, Red Falcons taken down. Eventually, it was a long-fought fight and a brilliant evasion from them for the most part of that one. But, I mean, Team Butchers did have the advantage for most of that fight, and they do manage to not screw it up in the end and actually come away very nicely with all 4 members still alive, get that full squad out of the way. In the meantime, ZRJ, they are really closing in on this Bros for Life player who is just hiding at this point. Not much you can do. I would be doing the same thing as well.
That's not their goal, I don't think. They're still shifting, and they're still looking for skull breakers right now. And new contender has entered the fight, and it's going to be C7.
And exited the fight.
Jumping right into bullets, man. That one's harsh. They do get the res, but next one's going to come in. Yordi does get landfall into it, but good positioning coming out from Butchers, living up to their name right now. Really just trying to navigate this one and see if they can get some more kills out of it. Danger Zone's going to land right in the middle of everything. And that's going to deny and force everybody to kind of fight along the edges of what's going on. C7 now having to decide, do we go into the danger zone or do we just turn and fight this? We also have Ozark that's just on the other side of C7. So none of this preferable at the time for C7. They just jumped right into the thick of it.
Yeah, now having to move well away from that one and actually having to leave a member behind. That split up awkwardly. Oh, and a knock will come out as Team Butcher, they're making the most of all of this. This is one of the teams that is right near the bottom of the leaderboard right now, but they're moving in. They're trying to get as many kills as they can. Strong is knocked, might be finished off here as well by Geordie, but, I mean, Navy and Dariel taken down as well. Oh, and both are finished at the same time. Ozark moving in as a third party, trying to take down the Team Butcher members. Are they aware of this? Yes, they are. Can they stop them from getting in? Not sure you can hide when you're right in front of them. Clan will be knocked, and I think that's going to be the end of the run for them as Ozark just move in, finish them all off. Alright, 2 more players left, I think, and that will be just about it. Ozark have come away very favorably in that third party.
Looks like one of the members for TBT did manage to get away, but guess what? running back over there where we saw C7 a second ago. Wasaka also coming along this path as well. So we do have a lot of solos hiding out over here right now. And really, it's just a matter of how Nathan can get away from this one. And I think has managed to do so. Yordi hasn't quite managed to get that same level of safety. Wasaka, I think that they've spotted him out. Now it's just a matter of do they want to commit the resources or how do they want to commit the resources. Frag grenades popped and yep, just jumps down. I respect it. He was trying to flank in back behind him, see if he can jump down right on top of him, get a knock, maybe get a flush out of it. Doesn't pay off. Circle now has popped exactly where we just saw the last danger zone being at. And remember that push that Team Money did a little while ago? Man, paying off big for them right now as they still have control over so much of the new safe zone.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to just be playing everything correctly at this point. A little slow start in that first map, but they've really brought it back at this point. And they're all the way at the top of the leaderboard. I think blissfully unaware of a lot of what's going on. I think they just want to get inside of the ring right now. Yeah, look at this. Ravka's right
they got
behind
goals.
them.
They've got goals. If there's something around here, they want to fight. They want to fight on anything, and it's paying off for them, man. I mean, just look, JP is now having to hop inside of a vehicle. They might be able to rotate around through this, but what's your option? ZRJ or go down next to Ozarks? Neither one of those are too good. Oh, no! It's going to be Zeus that pops him off in the follow-up. ZRJ is just dominant right now. Now, with this firefight, guess what? Skullbreakers hears this, wants to come in, but Skullbreakers, this is who they've been looking for. I don't know if you want to walk into this one right now because these guys have been after you for, what, at this stage, I think about a good solid 7 minutes.
Yeah, I can't help but feel so sorry for Fixture Pros for Life, who've just had it hard since the beginning, and suddenly, I mean... Oh dear. Oh well, taken out. I mean, that's just the risk of running into a game with a lower amount of members who were picked off from the beginning. Oh, Team Money are going to be rotating directly into Skullbreakers here. Can Skullbreakers figure out exactly how to take this fight? No, Maxima is caught off guard at a long range, and that means that they're all split up engaging in this one. A lot of grenades come out. Well, we got one in close here with Duro, but I don't know if he can get any damage. He knows he's not got any support from his teammates, and it means that Team Money have taken full control of the house. Now as he moves back in, it's going to be even more difficult to get around because he's being flanked from the other side, moves out the window, and he's running straight into IT Official as well. The fight keeps going. One member from each team is knocked and finished now at this point, but SKB seem to be coming out on top. Teammate trying to get more into this one. Ozark in the meantime, they're taking out ZRJ. Everything is going on all at once, and I think IT Official might just come up big on this one if they just push forward now. SKB still reeling from that fight.
Still waiting to see where the circle goes. It's going to collapse in just 1 minute. Skullbreakers slowing it down for just one more moment. They know the fact that there's a team still on top of them. It's going to be Viola still alive, and you can see IT separating out, getting an idea on what's going through, and this is why they didn't want to move. Circle is condensed down, and it heavily favors IT's position. Wasaka has won their fights to the south. They should be making a move. Ozark won their fight to the west. And so now, while IT does have a great position to play, everybody is looking at this compound. And that means the fact that they're going to have to fight multi-pronged fights coming through off of them. Skullbreakers might end up kind of assisting. Wasaka spots out what's going on with Ozark. Good firing lines coming up for them. It's going to be a whole bunch of glue walls going down as Ozark is going to have to just walk glue wall to glue wall right now. Wasaka just content in seeing the fact that they can get the shots into him, but everybody is starting to converge into IT's position. IT collapsed in and has now abandoned the building that is into the west, so that means that Ozark can come in and take it. Skullbreakers is now trying to leave out from the north. Looking into this one, finds the fact that they are now denied in, but Ozark is just pushing in. IT being pincered inside of this one, trying to hold it up, and they do manage to hold it. IT is just thriving right now. Wasaka wants to come in. They thought that this firefight was going to be way longer, but it's going to be a good play coming up from IT. Now, let's see if IT can hold off another contender that is trying to approach.
We were trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty. IT really don't want any of this one. Wasaka trying to get in the best they can. Maybe impersonating a police officer or something, but they're not getting any gain in on this window at all. You can see IT Official are actually taking down players through the wall. You know what? Let's give up Wasaka. Let's just go for the SKB players behind them. No, but IT Official, they're moving in. They come in, they take down one, they take down two. It's going to be all over for Wasaka. IT Official have played this perfectly. The grenade will do a lot of damage, but I'm not sure it's enough to keep away the IT Official players. Finishing off all of them. Oh, that's going to be it for Wasaka. Well played by IT Official. And wait, what? What just happened at the end there? I wasn't paying enough attention to... Wait, did IT Official win?
They just
Skullbreakers
kinda
won.
watched on what was going on with it. Skullbreakers watched the flank coming in with the firefights that both converged into IT. While IT did manage to take down one, the firefight on the other side of it took too long against Wasaka. And so Skullbreakers came up from the north, circled in on the
Oh,
opposite
wow.
side for where all the firefights. Well, actually, sorry, I forget the camera's reversed for you guys. Coming around on the other side for it, where those two buildings were. So then just waited, creeped in, used it for cover, and then whenever we saw Wasaka have to step away for just a second where Grow Zero was at, that's whenever Skullbreakers pounces in, and it's just a chain effect that set off. I still have to give credit though. IT, they should have been in a way worse situation than that, and it was just Wasaka that managed to come up right there at the end and really get back together in a desperate situation. Otherwise, I think that IT would have been able to fend off both those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly thought they were in such a good location. I could just focus on what IT official are doing, and then we'll move forward from there, and it'll be a fight v fight. But no, I mean, Skullbreakers immediately third partying that one, which is a brilliant play from them. And they'll come away with a lot of positional points for that one. I don't think they had too many kills. There you go. You can see, I mean, look at this, Skullbreaker with 19 points, so not too far ahead of the pack, and you can see this distribution is absolutely brilliant. What is that? 7 teams with double digits, which is lovely for all of them. Team Money are going to be retaining that first place position, I feel like. Wasaka, who were also in the top 4, going to be very happy with 13 points. ZRJ trying to move forward on that one, so they'll get a few points on that. You know, other teams that are near that top here, Red Falcons, High Religion, C7, really missing out on that one, and it's going to drop them right back. I think we're going to get an even more even leaderboard after this.
I just got to give a big shout out to Butcher, who got some very needed points for that one. I mean, killed distribution everywhere. You can see the fact that whenever we look through our top teams, it's all different teams as we look through it. So that kind of says something in and of themselves, is the way that everybody was getting caught in these really big firefights, and most of them ending quite quickly. So the teams knowing exactly how they wanted to navigate it. Well, we don't have a team here, though. I do want to say that JP is continuing to win my heart. While they might not be winning the leaderboard, they are winning my heart right now.
Only in 10th, so really starting to get a little difficult to catch up at this point, but I mean, still definitely within earshot, I think, of this one. And I mean, if they can really just bring themselves together, it's so difficult, and you can only sympathize with them for this one, for the lack of that one player that they really need to contest everybody else. But I mean, up at the top, you can see, even for the top 3 teams here, look, 2 points between the top 3 teams. Skullbreaker, Wasaka, Team Money, all getting in on the points last game, all getting in on the points before that as well.
The problem is, look at the drop-off we're starting to see. 12 points into ZRJ, and then it's tied with IT Official. I know, we still have another day of action that we're looking at, but you don't want to start letting people run off with games right now. Skullbreaker picking up that game was big for them. Look at this. Whatever we look at how it's starting to line up, only the top 4 go. I know, we've been saying it so much, guys. Top 4 go, top 4 go, top 4 go. But this is why we were wanting to let you guys know about it so many times. Right now, it's still so thick. Teams like High Religion, Red Falcons, they start off so well, and they're just slowly sliding. They've got to figure out some way to ride it and get those points again if they want to stay competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point now where, you know, you've got those first 4 maps done. Everybody can start. I mean, look, now the top 3 teams here, they're well away from the rest of the teams at this point. 12 points is a nice buffer to have. You know, it's not safe by any means, but it's a really nice buffer to have at this point. You now have how many more games to defend against this one? I mean, we've got 2 games left today. We've got 6 games tomorrow, so 8 more games left, or 8 more maps, I guess, left to try and defend that position. You've now painted a target on your backs. You're the top 3 teams, Skullbreaker, Wasaka, especially Skullbreaker, who just kind of popped into first position there, who've been kind of sitting near 4th, kind of near 5th at this point. They've really just popped up into that position. And now I think everybody is really going to be starting to see these teams, I think especially Team Money, who have been at the top this whole time, going to be really difficult for them going forward.
I just got to say, ZRJ. That's how you play it. You know, I keep saying the fact, play proactive, force everybody to react. Look at how it paid off for them. They've got so many kills inside that. They made it in the later stages of the game. I want to see more of that coming from these teams. Because, sure, last chance qualifier, top 4 spots. That's how you move forward. But then after that, there's still the grand finals. How much can you learn now? Because there's just a few more games to learn before you have to go up against the people that already qualified, so therefore played better than you last time. Time to use the growth. Use this extra little bit, see what you can do.
Absolutely. We're moving into our last map of the, well, our last two maps, I guess, of the day, but the last map of the rotation now, Purgatory here. Again, very spread out, but this time, much less cover to work with. You've got much more water. Generally, you're going to have a river in that last zone, or towards the last zones, because that's a very, very large river moving through the whole of this map. And then you've also got Moat House up there, so I mean, the likelihood is it's going to be very open towards the end, which is back towards that kind of Bermuda style, but it's much more open this time, which means there's just so much emphasis on long-range weapons here.
Yeah, looking through, JP very much against the wall right now with two teams that are going to be landing close to him. I got a little bit worried about that. A couple of teams making it to the Southern Island, both of them eyeing Central, and it looks like that's going to be Ozark and Team Money. It's just going to be an instant drop. Get what you can and turn it back around fast. Keep an eye on what's going on as they're going to be landing very close to each other with a little bit of a forefront. It's going to be TM that lands right in front of them and has the first run on weapons. Jumping up onto the top of it, it's going to be danger, at least being able to pick up something. Team Money has an idea on where we're going to see. They have the capabilities to start this one off quite strong. Ozark playing around it, but both teams now just trying to get information, play it carefully. Danger! Playing up on top, get spotted out. Team Money now making a quick reposition to see if they can get a flush onto him. Playing that high point, they know the fact that they need to make a play for these stairs, and they need to get up there very quickly. He's bait right now, and they're trying to go for the res. They're going to spot it out. Viola gonna see it, and that's another member now down. This is how you use the chain effect into it. Both members do get a res off of it just narrowly in time, but now just trying to get away from it. Everybody from Ozark is now stacked up here, and this is exactly what Team Money wanted. They are just waiting for the turner to go down. How much more can they get out of this one? Team Money just waiting. Guns go live the moment it goes down, but they have to be careful. There's a full stack back behind them, and they walk right into a crossfire. This is just such a huge problem for Team Money, but they do manage to inflict some casualties. Flacco still alive, still putting in work, still trying to see if he can get Team Money down. Reinforcements starting to come in, but it's still a 3v2 styled situation. What can we see? The repositions come out for Ozarks right now. Are they still going to commit into it? Do spot it through. Do get another down onto it, and Flacco is just running circles around him. He finally goes down. Just one member up for Ozark. Is he going to be able to get anything out, or is he just got to run for safety? Ozark needs points right now. They can't risk going out this early with nothing, and I think it's just going to be a matter of sacrificing Flacco and running for the hills.
I mean, Team Money, they're... Oh, what a shot from Rubio. He'll finish off the last member. I was going to say, oh no, IT official, they're moving in. Oh no, run, guys, run. I mean, they've come away from that fight so hurt. You can see they can't even heal back up all the way. They don't have any resources. IT official just moving in. Sorry. I don't know if they're aware of the positioning of Team Money, but if they do become aware of their positioning, it could be all over so quickly.
They're coming into this one smart. They're using the walls, trying to use cover as they come in. As MVP's outfit, sorry, just distracted me for just a moment there. Sanji! Oh man,
that'll do it.
Team Money, you had it going for you, and then it was just ripped out of your grasp like that. And again, IT, they felt confident inside of that last firefight, and they are just turning it on. This is the momentum we talk about that can carry over game to game.
Yeah, it was such unfortunate timing. I mean, Team Money was so going into that fight against Ozark. It went well for them. I mean, they won the fight, but in the end, lots of casualties coming off of the back of it. They really were just still reeling from that one when IT official moved in, and the timing was just so awful. The grenade through the window finished off two of the players. Now only one player left. Monkey. Oh no, they've spotted him out. No. This is going to be so difficult.
And here's the problem. Even if Monkey can get away, guess what's on the other side? It's ZRJ. There's nowhere for him to go. The circle has popped and at least goes west, but oh my god. I mean, IT, these guys just know exactly what they want. They're picking that one up. Every single point matters to them because remember, they're trying to climb up that leaderboard. They just got themselves a great set of points in the last one, but they know they can get even more. What can they do next?
That's a tough pill to swallow for Team Money. I mean, they came away with 4 kills. Great for them. But coming last, that means they got no positional points. That's 4 points locked in for them. And that's not enough, considering their position and the tightness of the pack up towards the top there. I mean, they're in the top 3 where all of those points matter. All of those points matter coming into there. I mean, you've got the 2 other teams, Wasaka and Skullbreakers there. They're still alive. They're still happy. They're staying away from other teams. Everybody else now capitalizing on that. IT official were close to that top 3. They're going to be making up those points that Team Money have just dropped on the floor now.
while I've got the map up, I did want to point out, look at how many teams that we see on the island that's to the west that were leaning against the coast. What they're trying to do right now is they're trying to clean it out, make sure that nobody's going to be coming up back behind them, get in a position so that way, yes, they do know the fact that the circle's probably going to move away from them, but they're not going to have anybody coming in back behind them. That gives you a little bit more strength in how you're wanting to navigate this. You can see that it is going to be Butcher making their way down. And hey, you remember where our last member surviving from the hot drop went to? Well, that's going to be exactly where ZRJ is going, and following right back behind them is going to be Butcher. So everybody now making a beeline for this positioning that IT has fought for and now claimed. And I don't know if IT is going to play there. It looks like I think that they are looking to the west and maybe eyeing golf course.
Yeah. I mean, Team Butcher. I'm not sure they're aware that ZRJ is right below them. I mean, they're staying on the opposite side.
Wait.
Oh, no, the close side. Oh, they've seen them.
But there's JP that's down just south of this as well. There are 4 teams all coming in on this angle, so with that firefight now, JP might opt into doing something. So, with Butcher coming through, oh, man, that was a quick spin around. They did get the knock onto Zeus, but it was a flush on the other side of it. Butcher wants to get this one out, but I mean, ZRJ are now repositioning around through this one, but JP is just kind of ignoring the fight. So, ZRJ says the fact that they want to get this res. They feel like they've got the strength inside of it, but not much cover to work from. They've got the capabilities. Look at the tools that they're working with right now, and it is a peak battle around this one. Butcher has to play very carefully for it. Now, ZRJ, they've got the gatekeep. Do they hold it, or do they go for a stronger gatekeep is the real question.
Yeah.
They aren't in safe zone yet.
Yeah, I mean, and having there's not much cover to work with for Team Butchers here. That's the main thing here. They are trapped on this bridge. All they've got are these beams and whatever blue walls they have available to them. They do have some nice weapons to be able to take these fights, and Yefri is going to find that one out very quickly. He's going to be knocked and finished immediately there by Strong. Unlucky timing. Maybe that gives Team Butcher an opportunity to get away, but they're going to be running right into High Religion here.
Yeah, High Religion's coming up right back behind this one, and they lost one member in that firefight, and High Religion feels like they want some points. They should spot this one out any second. Gonna just lean into cover, and look, there's nowhere for Butcher to go. They're out in the open. One member down, another one in a ton of trouble. Has to instantly drop the glue wall. They do have a hillside that they can retreat from, but, I mean, there's so little places to go now. HR has the momentum, has the capabilities to come through this one. Glue wall's gonna go down, and now knows the fact that they are being hunted down. Where can they even go? They've got the river on the other side of them. Their backs are against the wall. They have to retreat from this one as carefully as they can. IT, though, bumps into red, and IT is just putting in some work yet again. Just one member up for red, trying to survive through, again, trying to use the wall, trying to provide some cover, but in the end, it's IT yet again. 7 kills already. Damn.
Yeah, and all members surviving that one as well. Coming back into this one, they're still going to have 4 members to keep pushing this one. High Religion, they're looking around for this last Team Butcher player. He's up in there. Hey, Clan. He's just waiting. Can he spot out anybody before they spot out him? He's got a nice position to kind of watch for them, but they're searching this location. They know he's here. So this is going to be very difficult. Oh god, they're going up the stairs. Oh no, it's like a horror movie. It really is.
Oh, they know. Like, whenever you start seeing them make the peaks like that on those doorways, they're like, sooner or later you're going to have to leave, and we will just be here. They can commit in, but they're afraid of a shotgun right now. Unfortunately for Kalen, that's not the best. Runs out. Here's the time turner. Tries to use it for cover for himself. Runs in, and I mean, tries. You got to give him that. So yeah, he does go down, but Strong is still alive. He at least was a good distraction to let Strong get kind of centralized.
Yeah, I mean, that fight really didn't go as well as they wanted it to. But yeah, Strong is now, I mean, engaging in a fight. It looked like for a second there with IT Official. I saw some shots fired from him, at the very least. But I mean, High Religion, they're happy with their 2 kills. They do need a little more than that to stay ahead of the rest of the teams, though, so they're really going to have to push for this one. That is unfortunate for them, is that they weren't able to capitalize fully on either of the teams they engaged with. I mean, Team Butcher have managed to just about get away from them. They've cleaned up 2 of them, but... Oh, here we go. This is a standoff.
Yeah, I wanted to point out, while we can see what's going on with Skullbreakers and C7, that is on the very west of this circle, Dual Kings... they've decided that this is the way that they want to come in as well. So Luckily, Skullbreaker is stepping away from this one, but 3 different teams all vying for this one area right along the coast. C7 do have the compounds to play from, but we got to keep an eye on seeing how they're wanting to maneuver through this.
Yeah. Dual Kings with their signature move running around the edge of the map. Here we go. The long haul as they move around, and that might actually come up aces for them. As C7, they are just around here. They might not be expecting a team to go all the way around like this, but I'm not sure they're even bothered about the teams that are to the right of them. I think they just want to move around the edge of the zone here. They know, I mean, in all likelihood, with the zone this far to the west, no matter where they go around this coastline, they're probably still going to have a decent time of getting into that last ring. So I think playing for that positional, they have a lot of points to make up, so positional points are going to be very helpful for them.
HR gets this bridge and manages to, just by showing themselves, force the last member for Butcher up to the north, and looks like that's how he's going to try to sneak around what's going on. We can see the fact that as HR is coming into this, there's not going to be too many people in front of him. IT going to be the closest team, but still pretty decent chunk away. And so you can see that they're still taking it carefully, though. They're keeping an eye on how everything goes as they're moving in. We are going to see that the blimp is going to land kind of close to IT's position, and that might bring HR along this path, but I don't think so. We do see that Skullbreakers has separated out, gotten very far away from the position that C7 was playing earlier, and now it's kind of in between where Wasaka is, and now that Dual Kings has used that coastline. So we have a lot of teams with a heavy western lean right now. I mean, the east is pretty much open, and that's going to pay off big for High Religion.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing I was just thinking about while these two teams were right next to each other, technically it's not in either team's interest to take this fight if they know what team they're coming up against, because in a sense you do really want to hoard. If you're part of the top 3, top 4 already, you kind of want to help the other teams hoard those points so that you're not having other people contest that. If you can keep the top 4 static, that's probably a strategy that you're pretty happy with. So maybe that is part of why they're playing so passively against you. Nope, never mind. Okay, there we go. Yep, okay, well, they're fighting now. So my point is completely mute.
At this stage, it's just about taking what you can get, I think, and that's what Wasaka is going for right now. Skullbreakers realize the fact that, man, that is a lot of people running in real mad right now. Have to play it carefully. Throwable comes in, and Comatron drops it right on top of Clunky. Now, it's going to be Wasaka coming in with Grow Zero, trying to get another one. Oh, pops him in the face. And Wasaka is coming in with authority right now.
I think the term that you would use for that is dispatched. I think that's the technical word we're going to use for that one there.
That's going to be the technical word that I can use without getting fired from the cast. There's other words that I would think to use for that.
Meanwhile, though, first off, can we just DP 4 members, and they're engaging with a fight with Dual Kings here with that added member. Yeah. They added in a member. This is it's happening, and they're actually engaging with a fight with these guys to celebrate it. Oh, okay, maybe they're back to 3.
I thought we were in the good timelines. JP thought so too. They do manage to get a res onto their member, but it's going to be DK Camus trying to move forward. Keep in mind that C7 is kind of close to this one. Might get vision on it. Camus coming in. Has to play very careful around these outer walls. Marcos does get it down on Atati. Now, Camus still playing forward. Walking into this one is still going to be dancing around in between the blue walls. Does get some vision on Freestyle, but does drop it through. You can see that it is going to be DK wanting to play this one very close, but do have one of the members that goes down off of it. Trying to make sure that they're moving through these goo walls. They're not finding the opportunities. JP is doing a pretty decent job of holding it right now. Still have 2 members up. Now just have 1 up. It's going to be Freestyle that gets vision into it, but DK still looking through. Gets a little bit more. Gets another tap. Camus now. It's just going to be him and Wasito has to play this one very carefully. He goes down as well. Camus trying to get the last couple of hits and does get it right there at the end. But it's going to be DK that survives through it all. To the south of this, guess what? We've got ZRJ and IT in a very close fight between themselves. And overseeing it, it's going to be C7. So no matter who manages to win it, and right now it's looking like it's going to be IT, you're going to have a problem, as it's going to be a very strong C7 waiting.
Yeah, I mean, C7, the referees just sat there with their red cards, and I feel like they're dishing them out one by one here. I mean, IT official doing well in that fight, and they will finish it out in the end pretty much, but how difficult is it going to be to move in with C7 pretty much guarding the zone border here? Dual Kings, one player of their team is moving around to scout out that location at the very least, but C7, they're going to have full control of this last area.
Yeah, and so they're going to move in. It's going to be Camus that gets right in next to them. I think might have seen that. Yeah, given the fact of how he's playing this one, he's leaned right into it. He's going to feed that information back over to Marcos. Marcos is in trouble, to say the least, from the zone right now. And I think it's just kind of like Chain trying to survive out there. But yeah, I mean, IT still creeping forward, facing the zone as well as C7 did a great job in gatekeeping them. Wasaka, though, is playing right along the edge. And oh, Marcos, your timing is probably about the worst it could have ever been. You're going to come in on the zone wall right now, but Wasaka is actually caught up looking into C7's position. There's a threat right on top of him. They do manage to spot it out. MVP is coming out and takes down Yordi. And man, that could have been a big problem for them. Marco's still alive, though, but that's going to give a lot more opportunity to C7 as now that this firefight is going to reveal. And Marco's at least getting a knock in what's going to be happening. This means the fact that Wasaka is in a little bit more precarious of a situation, while C7 has managed to buy in, get a good spot, and now has cover to work with, as well as knowing exactly where Wasaka is at.
Yeah. It's very nice. Wasaka do have a nice location at the very least, but it's not much cover to work with. You can see that High Religion here do have a whole house to work with. Very nice. It's probably a very expensive mortgage, considering the amount of cover it provides. And C7, they're really right in the middle of them, taking shots from all sides. There's two members down as Dario tries to move around. That's a lot of damage done.
Look at Jonah's position, going for a flank up against this wall right now. Can move in right back behind Daryl, as well as the rest of C7. Using this, Grozira is now starting to make a move of his own. Jonah's point off of this, even just taking some shots, means the fact that Daryl and the rest of C7 is going to have to play this much more defensively than they want to. Jonah doesn't see it just yet. Oh, there we go. They get a couple of shots into it, but the circle is going to pop heavily. Favors HR right now, and HR know it. Now they're moving into a more aggressive spot. Wasaka knows they need to finish this fast, and they do. C7 is eliminated, but now Wasaka has to run into a very defended position that HR is now trying to hold down. There is some cover to work with, and yet again, it's going to be Jonah leading the way for Wasaka, having to run through the open, throws down the blue wall just in time. But can he be enough of a distraction to let the other team members come in? Off to the side of it, it's going to be Grozira that does get in the safe zone, but him and the other members now coming around the side of it do find an opportunity. 3 members now up for HR. They're leaning back into a defensive wall. Glue wall's going down as well. Wasaka at 9 kills right now are absolutely feasting on everything that's going on with them. Moving forward, trying to see if they can spot it through. Now has information on it. Glue wall narrowly goes up to keep one of their members alive. Now it is just down to 2 members for Wasaka that are trying to navigate through this. Meanwhile, around the outside of it, still just trying to stay alive. HR leaning into their glue walls, and it just feels like they're firmly cemented, firmly surrounded. Can they fire out of it? It's just going to be trying to see if they can get some knocks, turn the numbers in their favor, but there's so little to be had. Just yard up, still dancing around the outside, is going to get spotted out at any given moment. Can he reposition? Can he use the terrain to his advantage? No, he cannot. And it's going to be Wasaka that picks it up.
I mean, just a masterclass, I feel like, from Wasaka there. From location to location, every rotation they had, every new position they had a plethora of upsides for them. Just every single time. They managed to just have a brilliant view of a team. I think that's just perfect, almost perfect. I'm not going to say perfect. We can't dish out 10s out of 10s so early on. That would be irresponsible. With great power comes great responsibility, you know. But absolutely brilliant, just in every way. I couldn't fault them for that play whatsoever. Just the move in on C7, capitalizing on their awkward position between two teams, and then managing to just turn that straight into an attack onto the HR side, and just, I mean, almost perfect in every way.
I mean, especially being the team that has to move in, finish a firefight on C7, and then move into a team that has got the circle and firm cover to work with. The way that they play side angles and flanks right now is paying off big for them. I think a couple of teams could look at that. And I know there is strength in the wolf pack running together, right? But the way whenever you can separate out and have multiple firing lines and really that's the defensive line with the glue wall, right? You throw it down, but it's got that little bit of a curve into it, so it's kind of hard to have all the angles covered off of it. But if you're coming in, one of your members taking a couple of shots on this side, now the other one can move forward. And you just keep repeating it until there's just nowhere to go when you're firmly surrounded. And it's just beautiful to watch it play out that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see exactly the impact that has had on the scores here as we see Wasaka walking away with 24 points. 12 kills, 12 points for position. Absolutely a motherload of points there. IT official, look at that. 10 kills. I mean, just showing exactly how much kills do matter in the end. Coming 5th and still taking the second amount of points. But I mean, really the star of the show, Wasaka here. I don't think you can take anything away from them in that respect.
I mean, it also says something in and of itself that 22 people were killed by just those 2 squads. C7, they do get the survivability points, but walking away with no kills just due to the bloodbath that was happening around them. Looking back into this one, you can see that Team Money, who did go out pretty early, still get their 4 inside of it. Skullbreakers going down early. Red Falcons going down early. Team Butcher going down early. But hey, JP, you get yourself 5 points. Not going to be too shabby as far as it goes. But ZRJ, remember, there's a lot of these teams that were right on those cusp spots, trying to get in that like 4th place position. IT Official getting 16 points and ZRJ getting 6 is big.
Well, I mean, I said it was all to play for the top spots at this point, but Wasaka have kind of made it a little difficult, I feel like, to get the top spot now, at least today. So, I mean, well, if they can carry that momentum over into this last game, they're going to be well ahead of the pack. It's just absolutely beautiful from, as you can see here with kills, Ye coming away with 5, Jonah and Kamatron also with 3. Big from IT. I mean, again, not coming too highly in the placements. I mean, they did get taken out in the, second, third to last ring, but I mean, 4 and 3 kills up there. There you go. 74 points now for Wasaka. That's incredible. With 2 Booyahs now, and you can see how much is paying off for them. 21 points separated between first and second now. And everyone in the top 3, in the top 3 below them, that is, on 53 points now. So everybody is starting to catch up to them just a little bit. Now these top 4, apart from Wasaka, really do have to watch their backs.
Well, again, High Religion, ZRJ, they're still in contention, right? They're close. It's 10 points now between Skullbreaker and ZRJ, and you can start to see what I was talking about at the start of today. It just starts to get more and more stressful. Every game gets to be more and more impactful. You need to suddenly get that big game, that high kill count, just to start catching back up. If you're Red Falcons, you're now looking up at 22 points you have to get just to go from 7th to 4th. That is a massive, massive game. And even if you get that in one game, you have to assume Skullbreaker might get some points as well. So it's probably going to take you 2 solid games just to catch up at the stage. And it's starting to be so difficult to catch what's going on.
Yeah, it's just going to get more and more, exponentially this is going to happen. I mean, I think it's kind of incredible so far how tightly packed it is, at least in the top 4. Maybe not below that. I mean, 7 points below isn't that far off, obviously. 10 points for ZRJ. But, having 3 teams at the same scoreline after 5 games, that is unheard of, I feel like. So these teams really, really all duking it out. And you can see how tight the skill packing is here. Every team, getting near that skill ceiling. As, during the group stage, even when we were down to a very small number of teams compared to what we started with, we really saw a quite large distribution of those points generally later on in the group. Especially, even on the first day, you would have a big distribution. This time, very close. I mean, even from last to first, there is a doable amount of points there.
Well, it's about making sure you stabilize in those positions. If you can make it up into the top 5 repeatedly, pick up a couple of kills, that gives you your consistency, and that consistency starts to give you distance as game after game stacks through. And speaking of game after game, we've got our last one for the day that we're moving into. Can we see somebody step up, maybe approach that top 4? Are we finally going to see distance in between 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? Or maybe somebody try to catch up to the number 1 at the top of the leaderboard with a hefty lead? There's a lot of opportunities still on the table right now, and we still have another game of action, or another set of games of action tomorrow. But I gotta know, can anybody catch up now?
Well, we'll see now. Last map of the day, Purgatory once again. And if there's any time to do it, now would be a great time. You have the night to reflect on what happened today, and you have, you can maybe come up with strategies, but more towards the point. It's really going to be just, if you're well ahead of the rest of the teams, you're going to be happy going to sleep tonight at the very least. Oh, Wasaka, they're looking to make their lead higher, but Dual Kings, they're going to make it difficult for them. We've already found a kill. Oh no, Jonah, no, Jonah. Oh, just about
to stay alive.
Away. Oh no, it was never going to happen. Oh no. Well, okay, I mean, so at least one bled out for Wasaka there. So Dual Kings have at least dethroned the champions a little bit.
Well, Jonah's going to have some trouble. He's going to go down to Camus. And now, Wasaka, what you going to do? Get some vision in. Beautiful time turner being dropped right then, but doesn't even care. Wasaka says, okay, fine. I don't care about changes. I'll just run in here with you and get some work out of it. Wasaka's going to lean out just a little bit more, make sure that they get it down. So now, this has gotten to be a little bit more of an even fight. Duel Kings up on the top of it, trying to live up to their names as they've got a duel in front of them, to say the least. Wasaka, low ground. Grozera has to play this one so carefully. Already low on meds, and remember, this is low on health, and definitely low on meds. This is an early game fight. Not a lot of loot to be had just quite yet, and you can see a couple of things being exchanged. So now that we at least get their meds back into a little bit better of a position. On the outside, it's Wasaka with control. On the inside, Duel Kings is trying to figure out how to navigate this. And yes, there are a couple other firefights that are going on at the time, and it's going to be TBT as well as Team Money dropping on top of each other. But I think that it looks like Team Money has that one in control right now. We'll update you if anything gets a little bit more crazy. It's a little back and forth right now on seeing if Wasaka wants to do anything, but I don't think they want to push up this one just quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a really tough situation for them now. Team Money, another team who really contesting for the top, having a difficult start of the game. It's just blue left on this side with very low health. 3.
It's a 1v1.
Quite literally. But, I mean, yeah, get your teammates back up. Oh, God. That's real close. It was 1v1. Now it's 2v1. Bringing up ball walls. Be able to put down some resources. Oh, no. You see him running away? Can they catch him? Oh, no. He's going to get away, it looks like. Not wanting to do that, but he's going to run right into C7.
If he had peeked that, he probably had an amazing angle to finish off all 3. And here comes the push coming out. Wasaka coming in. And Wachan does go down. Grows 0 on the other side of it. Gets a knock. See this one. Camus on the other side of it. Gets spotted out. And Wasaka does win in the end. The cost of 2, but they do get 4 kills for it.
Okay, well, much more favorable at this point, but that's still a tough blow, especially if you're really wanting to hold on to that lead. Luckily, they've made that lead quite difficult to make back up for the other teams, so they should be pretty happy no matter what happens. But still, it's got to be tough. Being pretty much forced into an early fight and then losing 2 players is difficult for them. Well, Team Butchers, they're quite happy with how they've started this one out. They managed to take down 3 of these Team Money players, and with C7 contesting their location.
Do they know this? Are they waiting this one through? They're moving in with vision on this one. Blue's walking right into him. They have to take this fight. He gets dropped before he has any idea what's going on. Butcher now in a lot of trouble. Trying to get away, but he's already pretty low on life as well. Now just not the running off in the distance. Looks like it's just going to go for some type of survival points. As Waylon, I mean, it's a full C7 around you. So little options and trying to get something, but no, that's just going to be a down and flush. And solos galore are now starting to stack on top of each other. Guess what? Natha is running the exact same direction as the last member of Team Money.
Yep. That hurts. Especially since, okay, well, there you go. Natha will find out that kill at the very least. That softens the blow. It's a little, taking the gunpowder out of the wound.
In the end, they got what they wanted, right? They took Team Money.
They got what they wanted. Yeah, apart from the points that they will inevitably
Silver linings, man. Silver linings. That's the way you got to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, speaking of silver linings, so Pros for Life, back with their 4-member squad once again. I mean, they really need to make up a lot of points at this time, so it's difficult for them no matter what, but they've got to be happy about that. IT official moving in towards Ozark, the kill leaders right now. This is going to be difficult for both teams. Both teams really wanting these points once again.
Yeah, and again, it's just about that climb up the leaderboard. You're wanting to cement what you can at this time. IT coming in, gets some vision onto it, gets the start coming through. IT still hasn't even taken any damage as they're starting to inflict it on the other side of it. Ozark trying to see if they can get a little bit more time away from it. Finally, IT starting to take some damage inside of this one. Has to slow it down just a little bit. Ozark playing along this outside wall. Looks like they're just trying to go for a little bit of a reposition as Flacco is trying to get some damage into it. And now it's going to be IT starting to find themselves surrounded, and they have to try to get some type of counter move. What's going on? MVP now taking some damage inside of this one. He goes down as it's going to be Ozark on the other side of it, losing 1. Flacco goes down as well. IT doing a good job on trying to stabilize what's going on, but Ozark just finding opportunities on this outside angle for it and do get eliminated. Ozark, it looked like it was going to be bad for a second, but realized how they wanted to play it, used the outer wall, and just demolished IT.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, there you go. And MVP, they are finishing that out with 1 kill as well, so happy with that. But Ozark really coming away nicely there. So very happy about that one, and they really do need those points. Second from last, I think, currently in the full leaderboard. I think maybe actually last. I'm not 100% sure. I will keep an eye on that one, but we'll see at the end of the game anyway. Look at Wasaka. I mean, they're staying well near the top. They don't want to engage with anything. I think they're really just trying to hold on to as many points as they possibly can. Everybody's well now separated. I think it's kind of a reaction to kind of what's been going on in the past few games. We know how the other teams play at this point. I mean, they've had a month to figure out kind of how these teams play. Maybe they haven't been in the same groups, but they've played against them before. I think it's this just kind of culmination of what's been going on and this kind of anxiety of maybe going up against a team that's going to knock you out on this one, and having that so many teams now getting up near the top and staying near the top, making that difference between you and them. It's becoming difficult to secure your own points.
Looking at everything right now, JP trying to run across is going to get spotted, doesn't lose a member. Red is at 3 at the time, seeing if maybe they can connect into this one and aren't getting the knocks that they wanted to. JP now starting to play this one a little bit more on the aggressive side for it. Freestyle staying back, seeing if maybe he can hold a flank position on what's going on. The other 3 members, you can see the Toddy did get pretty close on that tree, and I think that Red is realizing, all right, we took the shots into this one and we have to be pretty cautious. Griffo still waiting to get the information onto it. Toddy already got the read on it. You can see jumping up, instantly throwing down the wall off of it, and Freestyle still just seeing if we can get some control. If we can see JP get to this outer wall, Freestyle might be able to find the capabilities to put some work into it, but I think that Red already has an idea on that. You can see he's playing the back wall away from where they saw the members coming through.
Yeah, it's, a very close grenade there. Not quite going to do any damage. Just a little bit to the glue wall. And it's kind of a war of attrition at this point. Japros for Life do have a nice position, but they really can't move in any closer. Justin, taking a lot of damage. We're going to be able to get away from that one. They do have the fortification they need, but they need to be able to at least soak up a lot of this pressure before Freestyle moves in from the flank, before Taddy moves in close. And it looks like both of those things are going to be happening at the same time. Well-timed glue wall.
All right, Red, 2 of their members are now stepping away from this one. Griffo, the last one in. JP has the opportunity to at least be able to pick them off, but while this is going on, it doesn't look like there's any teams at range, so they know that they need to finish this off pretty quickly, but Skullbreakers is coming along through this one. Griffo, with some good aim, does manage to knock Toddy. Griffo moves down low, actually stepping out into this one, using the time turner for it, but now it's just going to be a fight inside the bubble itself. Griffo trying to stay alive, but man, he is surrounded, finally goes down. It's going to be Prince 1 that gets the vision into it. Now let's see how the rest of the squad opts into playing. At range, it's going to be Freestyle that I believe went down and got flushed with the retreating parts of Red.
Well, at least Japros for Life have come away with a bit more out of that engagement than Red Falcons have. Red Falcons coming away with 1 kill, Japros for Life coming away with 2 at the very least. So, although they get away from that one, not without its casualties. Now we can see we're getting into the later stages of the game. Not much cover to work with anymore. Actually, this is probably one of the most favorable one of these later rings I've seen, well, kind of mid-game rings I've seen so far, because there is a lot of hills to work with at the very least. You know, you got that river in the middle, but you can kind of play on either side of that. Use the sniper's nests and the boathouses to your advantage, and plus we have the factory right in the middle.
Looks like campsite's going to be the way that we're leaning right now. It's going to be due up center inside the circle. Most teams playing on edge of it right now. Ones that aren't even inside the circle still going to be pretty close to it. You can see that right now we're watching C7 as they are approaching in on Ozark, who has been doing pretty good so far today, to say the least. Well, at least inside of this game, I should say. Not maybe on the overall day, but as far as this game goes, they're definitely stacking up some kills.
Yeah. Ringing round the rosy here. No, they're not going to engage with each other. I think C7, sorry, not C9, is aware of Ozark, but just doesn't want to engage with that one. I think they do have the longer range capacity at this point. They're going to be able to get behind this hill. There's a lot of positional advantages to where Ozark is, and they're going to be able to make that quite nicely. They're going for a swim. You know, you can kind of calm down at this mid-stage of the game with 8 kills to your name. I think they're quite happy with at least where they are. They're moving around, trying to get into the middle of the ring at the very least.
It's like, I believe Skullbreaker's got some vision on them. Doesn't want to overcommit, at least just kind of scare them away from zone, and I think that's what they're going to do, which could put them, Ozark, kind of leaning right up against the coast of that river there, and now moving east back into where C7 could be moving, or potentially HR, who is going to be just to the north of that. Ozark is kind of the big moving factor in what's going on to the south, but while Skullbreakers is keeping an eye on them, the 2 members for Red could be coming up back behind that as well. We're actually seeing a convergence into the east, which has been pretty open. It was only where High Religion was playing. Now that Ozark has been kind of pushed in this direction, and C7 is using the bridge to go in this direction. That could be a firefight that's just going to pop out of nowhere, and HR has been kind of chilling over here. Nobody's been around them for so long as the circle's been favoring east. I got to say, I hope that they're keeping an eye on all these flank positions, as C7 could be coming in right back behind them.
Yeah, and that's not a nice position to be in when you're being flanked. There are only 3 pieces of actual cover to work with there, and really nowhere to run. You're flanked by a hill on one side, a full team on the other. They're going to be backed into a corner here. At least they do know that C7 is coming. They do have that view of them, so let's see how they deal with it.
Now it's just going to be setting the trap. C7 coming into a very quiet location. HR waiting for them to get close enough to feel like they've got the opportunity. Yard is so close right now with the way they're moving through this one. You can see he's watching. If this is going to be the angle that we're going to see coming through, suddenly C7 is going to find themselves totally unaware out in the open. Glue walls go down, and this is going to be where HR is opting into making their play. Yard has a couple of options that he can go with, multiple different angles they can play from, but it's going to be Narco who steps up, takes a little bit too much. Yori does go down. Yard on the back flank, finding that new angle to work with. C7 just was going for a stroll and suddenly finds themselves just getting absolutely butchered off of this position. HR hasn't even lost a member inside of this just yet, and now it's just going to be trying to sneak away. C7's last member got to get spotted, and that was a clean fight coming out from HR and just good awareness altogether.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying they have that hill flanking them from both sides, and I mean, somehow HR have kind of pushed C7 round into the position they were in with that corner flank of that hill there, and somehow they've managed to just push them back into there. They had nowhere to go. C7, they were just backed into a corner, rock in a hard place, as it were. But now Ozark are going to be the team to deal with.
I mean, he's been spotted. Skullbreakers knows where he is. Justin's long gone. Zones at his back. I mean, Will, what you do? That's a lot of Skullbreakers in front of you, and I mean, at least stall for as long as you can. See if maybe you can give time for your teammate to make it away. Too many angles, nowhere to go, and Will's going to go down. They should finish it out. But Justin at least managed to get away and go for a swim. HR does get vision on what's going on with Ozark, as Ozark is right inside the safe zone. It's just really them and Wasaka to the north of this, as Ozark is going to have to contest against HR, who's playing right up against the zone wall, so could find themselves kind of contesting around Forge.
We've had a very, very eventful mid-game. It's meaning that this late-game area is going to be very, very sparse, I feel like, in the distribution of the teams. Luckily, we do see a little bit of an engagement here between Ozark and HR here, but whether they will actually engage in these fights, I'm not sure Ozark really want to do that. They've already secured enough points. Never mind, they proved me wrong. Narco is going to take a lot of damage there, but stays behind cover, and Ozark really don't want to overcommit.
Yeah, I like this. Take the shots, see if you can stall it out. They don't have a ton of vision to work with right now, and they have to be very careful because HR does actually have one of their members coming up on the other side. You can see that there's 2-1 off on this angle, and it looks like Ozark is going to commit. They feel like they might have the advantage into it. So can the one flank coming out from HR be the thing that turns this, or can Ozark finish the fight fast enough to not give them time to do anything with it? Ozark spins back around. Danger has gone down as well. So that's 1 on both sides with this one. It's going to be a quick reposition, as I think finally we're going to see the HR flank coming in off to the side of it. Are they going to have vision on what's going on? There you go. First shot's going to come out. That's going to be Danger going down inside of everything with it. Ozark just trying to run right into his position. Blue wall's going down, but it's at least slowing it down enough. The flank came just a little bit too late. There's not enough time, and so HR goes down, and Ozark picks up another 4 kills to be at 12 already with only 5 teams remaining.
Only 1 casualty off that fight is brilliant from them. They've now got an absolute load of kills and really not much resistance coming into the rest of this part. As I said, it's quite sparse around them, but they're going to be able to calm down.
He just wants to be left alone, man. He just wants wants to go in the zone, and everywhere he goes, there's fighting, man.
Oh, man. Why was the world such a cruel place? They're searching for him as well. Look at them. They're hungry, bloodthirsty.
Oh, I mean, 12 kills. It's paying off. Be as thirsty as you want to right now. Wasaka is in the north, and I believe has spotted out JP, who is trying to approach in the safe zone. Skullbreakers has spotted him out as well. This is not good for JP in the slightest. It's going to be 1 knock on a Prince 1, and it's just nowhere. I mean, like, there's just too many angles. There's a full stack of Skullbreakers just looking at them from one side, and then Wasaka on the other. I mean, they're having to throw down defensive resources everywhere just to try to stabilize right now.
Justin was unfortunately just taken down. He was knifed by one of the Ozark members. Quite the way to go, I feel like, when you're the last man alive. That is unfortunate. JP are forced to kind of split up a little bit here. Oh, a bit of lag, that's fine. Oh, but that means it's Ravkush that's left behind, going to be taken down.
Wait. Look at this. Wasaka has now spotted out Ozarks, and they realize the fact that that's a problem. They know where Skullbreakers is. But one of the members for JP, Toddy, is actually flanked all the way around the north, and that could be absolutely huge for them, because he's going to be able to get away from so much of this firefight, as well as potentially distract what's going on. You can see Grozero does get vision on Skullbreakers as they're trying to make their approach in. Wasaka, the only ones inside the new safe zone right now, and oh, that grenade bounce was brutal right on top of Maxima. Skullbreakers they're having nades just dropped on top of them like they're being ordered right now. Grozero realized the fact that he's got the momentum in it, coming down through it, trying to spot through. Gonna go ahead and throw down his glue wall, stall up for just a second, spot through on the other side, but he goes down. Good play coming up. Shotguns coming up big when it matters. Sokka realized the fact that maybe they ran a little bit too far. JP, though, they want to be in off of it. He revealed himself, but he's now outnumbered in such a terrible way. The Skullbreakers know. Yeah.
Oh. That's painful. Wow, Skullbreakers defended that position so well, and now it's just them and Ozark. And Ozark caught on a rotation a little bit. They have 13 kills, but can they get away with the rest of these 4? It's looking unlikely. Skullbreakers have managed to stop them from taking any high ground at this point. Oh dear.
That's a mistake. That's a problem.
That's
and now, Ozark, go. Here's your opportunity. Go as fast as you can right now.
No.
Even out. They're just running around in it. They're going sights out, trying to put in the work right now, just massacring as it goes. Playing around the outside of it, they still have one of their members. You can see it's going to be Skullbreakers do finally manage to take down Blacko. Trying to right this one over on the other side of it. Plonky does go down. It's going to be Skullbreakers member now just trying to run through, seeing they spot the last one. Bush now being brought into effect. Blue wall's going down as well. Peeking around the outside of it. 15 health. Seeing if he can get the spray in. Tries to go for it, but doesn't get it. Tries so hard. But in the end, it's going to be the high ground and the reposition that pays off, even though it started with a technical error, to say the least.
Yeah, little misfire, grenade launcher to the foot, all good. It's a flesh wound. He got back up. Actually, he didn't get back up. But either way, I mean, the team won the fight. I mean, it was good play there from Skullbreakers. Obviously, not getting too involved in the whole game as a whole, but towards the end of the game, just making sure that they cleaned up what they could. Made sure they got the high ground stopped. I think crucially stopped Ozark from rotating up to the high ground with them, because it just put them at such a disadvantage, even when they accidentally maybe it was to level the playing field a little bit, but went back down to 3 members in that fight. I mean, the high ground was essential in that last fight.
Well, I mean, Flacco got himself into a good position there and just brought out the scythe and started trying to put in work. I almost feel like that could have gone in Ozark's favor if it was just a firm commit. Whenever you're looking at that, it's the last fight. You know that glue walls are just going to be dropped everywhere. Playing around the outside of it, if you're going to be playing there, you got to hard flank and around, so that way you're at least getting the angles to counter the glue walls going down. If you're not going to go into the thick of it, you at least need to get back behind it and be unexpected. And I just don't know. It just felt like almost like the chaos came too quick whenever we saw the grenade launcher being brought up. And I think it was a grenade launcher into a teammate throwing up a glue wall at the exact same second that led to the problem. It just turned into, we don't get a plan anymore. Go on Ozark's side.
Yeah. And then we can see just quickly there, we see the map rotation, obviously the winners of each map. I mean, you can see right there, Red Falcon. What a fall from grace in a sense. I don't mean to be rude in any way, but I mean, winning the first map and just slowly slipping down that points leaderboard. I'm pretty sure they're now somewhere around 7th or 8th at this point. Well, we can take a look at least what happened in that game. Skullbreaker with 21, but look at Ozark with 14 kills, managing to get 23 points. They had a 3-point disadvantage positionally to Skullbreaker at the end there, and they still beat them by 2 points in that game, which is absolutely incredible. Japros for Life finally getting really involved into the game there, coming 3rd positionally, gives them a nice 10 to go home with at this one. Wasaka still getting involved. They're going to stay well ahead of the rest of the teams, but I mean, a nice game for all around.
Look at ZRJ. 0 points in that game. They are trying to fight for the top 4 right now. And when you look over, Skullbreaker getting points, you look at Wasaka getting points. I mean, there's still 6 more games tomorrow, guys. Yes, we are at the closing of what we're looking at right now. But Ozarka, we were saying the fact that you don't want to put off everything. Every game starts to be very important as each one drops off. Ozarka finally finding themselves a big game, and that's going to feel good moving into it. And
Oof,
as
my-
Axel up here, 8 kills by himself. I mean, that could be a squad total usually.
That's wow. That's 2 whole squads for one person. At some point, you do have to I feel like it gets to the point. It's like an addiction. There's an intervention that needs to be had.
I got to point out something on here. Usually, we don't see it drop down into the 2 kills, because there's usually like 4s and 3s on this one. Just due to the amount of kills that Wasaka got, meant the fact that so many other teams just didn't get a stat kills in the same way, because it was just death and destruction wherever Ozark was at.
Yeah, I just don't believe. Like, the amount of mid-game domination Ozark had gave them full control of whatever they wanted right up until the end. It worked out so perfectly for them. Axel, I mean, absolutely, like, round of applause, I feel like, for Axel is definitely, I want to hear... I want to hear it around the world. People, viewers, let's give them a round of applause for that. But, I mean, even, like, the thing is, 5 kills, any other game, we would say that's brilliant for Clubber there, but... It pales in comparison to Axel's 8.
But here's the thing. It doesn't pale in comparison to Skullbreaker's positioning. Getting a big kill like that, walking away, making it into the late game, getting themselves in such great positions, getting those points. Well, great. I'm super excited for Ozark. That's what I've got my eye on. Moving up there, Wasaka at 86, now 74. Skullbreaker making themselves a contender up towards the top and saying, Wasaka, it's not over yet. Your lead isn't insurmountable. But then there's a big drop-off into High Religion and IT Official. Team Money now starting to creep up into it, tied with IT Official right now. It's just the kills that are separating them out, and why IT Official is in our top 4. And remember, it is the top 4. I know. Why am I saying remember? You guys know at this point. We've talked about it so much. But look at the climb of Ozark.
Yeah, I mean, that is just incredible. Like, from one of the lower teams there, coming all the way up, I mean, surpassing Red Falcons and ZRJ at this point, and just, well, I mean, they're really in contention at this point. We've still got 6 games left to go tomorrow, and I mean, only 8 points away.
While you're looking at this, I do want to point out, you were right. In 12th place, it was Ozark.
Yeah.
This shows how that one big game gets you back into the thick of it. Mm-hmm. And I just kudos to Ozark for finding the opportunity and just grasping it and just holding on and like with a death grip and saying, no, we know we need this one. And let's see if they can get another one, because if they can, man, they're in it.
Yeah, you got to be feeling really good coming into Sunday with a scoreline like that, coming down from the bottom of the leaderboard right up into not just contention for 4th place. You are 8 points away from 4th place. That's a decent games scoreline. That isn't like, I mean, one of your members got that many points by themselves without placement points, just by themselves in kills. So it's completely doable now for Ozark. You've got to be feeling really confident, I feel like, coming into tomorrow. We're going to take a look at... Oh, sorry, you go.
I was going to say, let's take a look at our top fraggers overall so far, and woo, we're getting some stack ups over there. Wasaka on here twice, and I was going to say, it seems like we were seeing so much with Grow Zero, but it's just Jonah on those flanks and being so consistent with 11 kills that gets him the number 1 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see the difference there. Jonah, who was so consistent all throughout, Wasaka obviously doing well all throughout, getting 2 booyahs. And, I mean, Jonah just had a very consistent amount of kills all the way through. We saw some 4s, we saw some 3s. Finishing up with 11. Axel, who very obviously before last game. Yeah, exactly. From 2 to 8. Oh, it's from 2 to 10, sorry, with 8 in that last one. I mean, it just does go to show that one pop-off game is all it takes, especially over a 2-day part of an event.
Well, it gets you in it. I would say it takes 2 pop-off games to make you feel good and get you in the top 4 comfortably right now. Especially when you see Wasaka popping off so regular. Average placement. See, this is what we're talking about. This is where the consistency becomes so important. Wasaka, always in that top 4. Surprise, surprise, if we're looking to top 4 to advance, that's why they're getting the lead. Right back behind them, Skullbreakers again. It's almost like you're seeing how it lays out. With the kills being the outlier, we're seeing these teams manage to make it in the end zone over and over again.
Yeah, and it really just goes to show how much consistency has played its role in this event from the beginning until right up until now. Obviously, it's only a 2-day part, and really every game does matter at this point, but still consistency is a big part of this. And if you can keep getting into the top 5, top 6, you're really going to have a pretty simple time of staying up there.
All right, so Again, 6 more games tomorrow. We're going to figure out with that one who's going to be going on to the grand final. And yes, I know we've been action every weekend, but if you can't tune in for whatever reason, I feel bad for you because you know it's going to be freaking awesome. Do remember the fact that the grand finals start 2 weeks from this, and I think it's going to be the 17th, 18th, and 19th off the top of my head. So, Twiggy, first time casting together. Just want to say before we close it out for the day, any final thoughts?
It's been an absolute pleasure, obviously, working with you. Brilliant. And honestly, these have been the most exciting games of Free Fire I've ever seen. I only really got into the game a couple months ago. Only first did it for the first time, and it's been absolutely incredible so far. Starting off, I thought, oh, well, this is exciting, and now it's just absolutely nothing I've ever seen before. So much excitement, so packed in, and I can only thank the North American Free Fire community for coming together and creating such a brilliant event. Not just the players, but the production crew and everybody who's made it happen from start to finish. Been so brilliant. So thank you.
I mean, it's just the start of everything. And while we are going to be hotly contesting and watching tomorrow, I gotta say the guys put up a hell of a fight today. And you know, if they put up a hell of a fight today, tomorrow is gonna be nutty. So make sure you tune into that one, see where the big plays are coming from. If Wasaka can hold up to the top, if these guys at the bottom can go back, do the VOD reviews, figure out what went wrong, and find a way to usurp these other people and get into those top 4 spots. Thank you to everybody inside of Free Fire. Thank you to our production, everybody for watching. We wouldn't do this without you. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Yeah.